Come on. There we go.
From the tailgate smoke to the late night post, best cash in the game. Raiders Coast2Coast. Click that play, let it roll. Silver, black in my soul. Got 401, righty to Jeff. Breaking plays, taking notes, that chef. Film on loop, he's stacking stats. Calling out schemes, exposing gaps. When the line holds, when it don't, he said what they scared to quote. Raiders coast to coast, that's the show I trust the most. From the bay down to that post, we ride it, we ride it. Raiders coast to coast, if you bleed that silver ghost, hit subscribe and raise a toast. We ride it, we ride it. LV, Raider 10, bring that flame. Live from the desert, loving this game. Stories from the stands, from the strip. Heart in the huddle every trip. They debated, never fake it. Caught a draft pick, celebrated when the shield shine bright on screen. You can hear the whole fan base scream. Let's go! Let's go. Raiders coast to coast, that's the show I trust the most. From the bay down to that post, we ride it, we ride it. Raiders coast to coast, if you bleed that silver ghost, just subscribe and raise a toast. We ride it, we ride it. The whole Coliseum to the lights where we see him YouTube on. That's the spot for the real talk, real plot, forward, rid of Jeff, LV with rid of 10. Run it back, run it back, run it back. Play that episode again. Raiders coast to coast, it's the show I trust the most. From the bay down to that post, we ride it, we ride it. Raiders coast to coast, if you bleed that silver ghost, hit subscribe and raise a toast. We ride it, we ride it.
Welcome back, Raider Nation. How you doing tonight? So here's the thing, Raider Nation, this offseason, there were teams that stopped building something real. Free agency's right around the corner. The combine just wrapped up. And the 2026 season and draft conversation is starting to heat up. So here's the thing. Raiders fans everywhere are asking the same questions. What direction are the Raiders taking with this roster? Tonight on Raiders Coast to Coast, we're breaking it all down. We're going to talk a little bit about the combine. We're going to talk about the standouts at the combine. We'll talk free agency targets and the prospects Raider Nation should watch heading into the draft. Joining us tonight, as you can see, it's just me. Nate had to work late, so he will not, unfortunately, be here. But joining us tonight is 805 from Real Talk Raider Nation. And here's the thing. He's a guy that's known to study players and evaluating talent and bring a real football insight to Raider Nation. So, Raider Nation, jump in the chat. Who should the Raiders target in free agency, and what position should we be looking for as a top priority on the draft? So, without further ado, let's get into it, and let's bring 805 on the screen. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? What's happening?
How we doing?
Let me pop in here and talk a little bit of football with you, man. I'm excited for it.
Hell yeah. I'm looking forward to this one. So before we really get into the whole football aspect, you know, the Raiders and everything that's going on, just some folks that are watching may not be aware of what your background is. So what's your football background, and what got you into being such a, I think, one of the best evaluators of film and player talent out there that I've seen on YouTube? What got you to be to that point? And
first, I appreciate it. Appreciate the comments, the words. So I started playing football as a young kid, and so I started playing football real young. Played all through high school. Played a little bit of JC junior college ball, but then before I actually had an opportunity to move on and actually play at a D1 level, which was very close to, I ended up breaking my collarbone and I got hurt. I broke my collarbone and continued to go to school. So my eligibility was kind of getting taken away. And by the time I was actually healthy, my chance of going potentially D1, I was supposed to go to Arizona State. It kind of fell through. So I actually played a little bit of semi-pro ball.
there you go.
And then I played 1 year of pro arena football with the LA Avengers. And that was just for one season. I had fun with
Nice.
that. And at that point, I kind of had to make a life decision because I was working at the time, making really good money as an insurance broker. And I was young, met my wife at the time. And so I just had to make some decisions. I actually got invited at one point to go play Canadian football, go try out for Canadian football.
No shit.
And I had a buddy that I played in high school with. His dad coached in Spain for an international professional league. And the funny thing about those leagues is you're allowed to have 3 Americans on your team. Because he knew me as a young kid playing through high school and stuff like that, he kept hitting me up. He's like, hey, I got one more spot. I'm allowed to have one more American on. I want you to come out and play. Unfortunately, again, had to make the life decision. I was basically dating my future wife, I guess, at the time. And I just was like, you know what? I probably got to just hang it up. The injury, it kept lingering. Again, broke my collarbone, so that was just tough. But when I was in high school, I'd walk over and my youngest brother, I have 2 younger brothers and a younger sister, but we were basically a full football family. My dad he was a 3-sport athlete in high school. He played football and baseball at San Diego State. He ended up getting drafted by the White Sox to play baseball. Never played, but he was a pitcher and his college coach threw out his shoulder, but he did get drafted and made it. But I would play high school ball. I'd go and practice and stuff, and then I'd walk down and I'd coach my youngest brother because he was still playing youth football. And that's kind of how I got the taste of coaching. And as time went on, I again had to stop. I had to stop basically playing, unfortunately, because of the injury. I was getting a little bit older again, had to make life decisions. I just got into coaching. And so I went back to where I originally started playing youth football. So I started coaching youth football a little bit. And then kind of long story short from there, my defensive coordinator in high school ended up being the high school head coach. And he found out I was coaching youth ball. And he said, hey, man, I want you to come over and coach my linebackers because I was a linebacker. And he said, okay. I was like, all right, let me come. I was an assistant linebacker coach for 1 year, then took over the linebackers and ended up being the defensive coordinator for him. And then so I was the DC over there for quite a while. And then I moved to Texas. And then I ended up coaching football in Texas for a while. And then in 2019, so I coached football for 23 years and I played it for 15 years to kind of sum that up.
Yeah.
In 2019, when I was in Texas, I just knew that I didn't want to take my career path in coaching football because I've been at my same job for the last 18 years. And so it's been my career. It's helped me provide the life I have for my family. And so that takes the priority. My kids were getting older. I have 3 kids. And I was like, you know what? It's time for me to basically give the time back to my kids as well as time back to my wife. Because the moment I met my wife, I was working, I was playing football, I was coaching football. And so I was like, you know what? Time for me to so in North Texas. And so North Texas, I lived in McKinney at the time, about 30 minutes north of Dallas, and coached a school called Lovejoy. And so, oh man, LV's on his way. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So basically I was like, you know what? In 2019, I was like, I'm going to go ahead and give my wife back her time because she basically she held it down for so many years. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and hang it up. And so when I moved out here to the Las Vegas area, funny story, I ended up getting contacted through email from a guy that I coached against in California. Mm-hmm. And he found out that I was out here in the Vegas area and goes, hey, I have a position on my staff at a high school out here. Do you want to coach? And I said, no, man, I'm done. I'm not coaching. I can't do it. I promised my wife I wouldn't do it. And when that happened, I was getting that itch to coach again. And I knew he was going to keep bugging me. And funny enough, the high school that my daughter goes to, my oldest, or did go to, and my youngest will obviously go to the same high school, Fred Bolitnikoff Jr.'s son is the varsity head coach.
Oh, shit.
And so that gave me basically motivation to go and support the local high school and stuff like that. So I was going to the games. Then all of a sudden, I kind of was sitting in the stands by myself, and the dads would kind of start talking football and stuff. And one of the dads looked over and he's like, "Oh, do you have a son on the team?" I'm like, "Oh no, my daughter goes to school." And I was like, I'm a big Raider fan. Fred Blitnikoff Jr. He's the son of our Hall of Famer. I was like, I got to support it,
Yeah.
And started talking a little bit, and then they started to kind of understand. Yes, I have history of coaching football, and they would start asking me questions. And I got that itch. I was like, damn it. Okay, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get into coaching. And when we had our Josh McDaniels year, the year he got fired, I was just so pissed off that we hired him. I was pissed off
You
with
and me both.
the team. And I've never done this social media stuff. I was called old by my kids because I still was on Facebook. I didn't have Instagram, Twitter, nothing like that. And I looked at my wife. I was like, look, like, what are your thoughts on me? It was the first time I stumbled across like Mitchell Renz. It was the first time I stumbled across like Graff and Wasted. I probably was watching them for like maybe a month or so. And I said, you know what if I just jump on and talk? I already talked for hours on end with my dad. Obviously, he coached me growing up, and he's all about sports. I talk with my best friends that are Raider fans. I talk hours upon hours throughout the week about Raiders and sports. Let's just kind of jump on. Let's jump on, and maybe I could just talk. We'll see how it goes,
So what year did you start? What year did you make your channel? Like, how long have you been doing this? What year did you start?
2023, the 2023 season.
You know what? I got to say, I don't mean to cut you off, but so you've been at it since 2023, and that 3-year time frame, roughly. I mean, you've made a heck of a following in 3 years. That's impressive in itself too. I've seen guys where it takes them multiple years to get even close to the numbers that you have and the followers that you have. Because no joke, when you guys are on Wednesday nights and Sunday nights, part of the whole war room with you and Chris from Protect the Shield and Severe, you guys have a shit ton of people between your 3 channels in those chats. It's incredible how many people actually follow you. And I get why. You know what I mean? The show that you guys do together is it's one of my favorite ones to watch. Since I first met you and got to see your shows, that's one I make sure that I watch religiously. So, kudos to you in that time frame that you accomplished as much as you have so far. That's amazing.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, it kind of took off, which was good to see. It was great, and it allowed me to kind of get the itch out of coaching and just being able to kind of just get on, talk about it, and it's been fun. It's been fun. It's been able, especially going on and being able to break down game film and just kind of share just my thoughts, but also get the feedback, from the chat and kind of have that back and forth. I enjoy it, man. So it's kind of brought me here, but I'll tell you right now, being able to meet a lot of the content creators that I have, obviously Chris and Severe, yourself, Leo, Jay, LV, just being able to meet these guys and you guys and just understanding that, man, there is truly a good little family as it relates to just this content creating stuff. It's cool. It's cool to be a part of. So
Jason Down switched his profile picture to you. He goes, it's because people love me. Speaking of the chat, let's check in with the chat before we go a little further. I do have to say though, your playing background, there's a lot of stuff that you mentioned tonight that I didn't know about. The Canadian part, the Arena League, the semi-pro, and that's where you and I are similar. I played high school, obviously. I didn't go to college. I went right into the fire service after I got out of high school, but I had the opportunity to play semi-pro for a couple of years. And that, in honesty, was probably one of the most funnest times of my life was when I was doing that, because as an adult, I mean, I started playing when I was 30 years old. So as an adult, that aggressiveness was more than what it was when I was in high school. I wish I had that aggressiveness that I had when I played at 30 years old, because I would have been a completely different high school player in itself, but it took me a few years to get that. I think as I got older and got pissed at the world shit. But
I will say, I don't know how semi-pro is nowadays, but obviously, like, I got introduced to semi-pro by my junior college coach because he knew a guy that was coaching. And so when I went over there, I'll tell you right now, like it was, again, this is a while ago, but I want to say it was probably one of the more dangerous leagues that I've probably played in, given the fact that guys didn't care. And so they were just looking to kill, like take your head off. And I think
the rules were very relaxed.
Head on the swivel. But what was really cool though is because I played about, I want to say it was 4 years with a team called the West Coast Sharks. They're out of California, but then I played 2 years called the Inglewood Blackhawks, and they're out of Inglewood. And you get two different dynamics, but it was fun because at the end of the day, you know, it got me out there being able to play. And we actually got a lot of former NFL players that came out that either got injured in the NFL and they had to figure out a way to kind of get their body back into shape, and so they come and play. God, I'm forgetting who he was. He was a former quarterback for the Steelers that I played against. I'm blanking on his name.
Tommy Maddox.
A lot of kind of kickbacks from the NFL, and it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun league to play in. I made a ton of friends that I still know to this day, which is cool.
Yeah, and you're right on the way the guys were. I mean, some of the guys on my team had done hard time. Like some of these guys were, you know, in prison for multiple times. I mean, yeah, we had some serious thugs that played on the team that I was on, and some of the teams we played against too. So yeah, they were no joke. They're definitely no joke. It toughened you up. If you weren't tough, you were tough after playing that.
My one fun claim to fame a little bit is I took out Snoop Dogg. So he was the owner of one of the teams. Snoop was. And for one game, he decided to suit up. He just wanted to suit up and play receiver for the team that he owned. And I'm like, I think he was only going to play like one series. And I was playing safety at the time. And he went on a quick slant and right into the zone. I saw it coming. I stepped up into that zone and I put my hat right underneath his shoulder pad and basically took him out, and he walked off. He was done.
He's like, screw this shit. All right, let's check in with the chat. We got Daniel Berry's in the house. Lewis is here. What's up, man? Rorschach's checking in. Big Luck is here. Edgar Sosa. Don't Trip Fool. Tyler Linderbaum and Alex Pierce. We're going to get into that. I got the main guy here, so we're definitely going to be talking a lot about this stuff. Let's see. It won't happen, but would you give up a fourth for Zaire Franklin?
Zaire Franklin from, I think he was off the Colts just previously. I don't know if I'd give up a fourth. I mean, he's a former Pro Bowler, which is great. You know what I'm saying? He's got that under his belt. Man, if I'm giving up a fourth, to be honest, I think I'd give up a fourth for a better offensive lineman, depending on what happens at Linderbaum. If I'm going to give up draft capital, I might want to go after some offensive linemen. But there's also some other linebackers I'd definitely like to go after in free agency.
So, Coach, you got a question for you. He says, on a scale of 1 to Army, where does he rank himself as a former linebacker? You knew if Coach was in the chat, that Tommy's name was going to, if we mentioned it or he was going to mention it, was going to come up. So,
man, Coach, all I got to do is I just got to wait. Because I don't know if Coach, you tapped into our show yesterday, but apparently Tom Yami's brother's available now.
I heard you say that.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I ain't giving no damn ranking with you, Coach.
You're gonna compliment for money, Chuck. So that's huge.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So he says you have impressive credentials. Respect, brother. You do too, man. I'm telling you. Anybody that doubts anything that he says or brings up when he talks about players, whether they look like they're ready for that spotlight or not, or the inconsistencies, I respect your take on things because number one, you spend enough time playing the game and coaching and reviewing film for that, to where what you do now on your shows, it's a proven, you're proven stuff. You know what I mean? you're not bullshitting, basically. You're not just pulling shit out of your ass. You spend the hours doing it. I mean, you sent me a screenshot of what your layout looks like when you're doing game film. God bless you. That would drive me nuts. I don't have the patience for that.
Well, that's what actually I do like about being on this whole YouTube thing, right? Is everything is kind of documented now, and so I can point back as much as some people will be like, oh, you're a hater or you just stuff like that. And I get it, right? But I can go back to my history now. I've been on here long enough to where I can go back and go, look, like there was a lot of times where people did call me a hater and it's just, I want to be able to go back in my history and say I was correct. Right. And that's what I really like about doing this YouTube thing, that everything is now documented. Now, am I going to be right all the time? Absolutely not. Like that's why you'll never hear me say that, this is for a fact, or at least very, very rarely, because I understand. And because again, I coached it for a very long time. I know that who would have known Sam Darnold would have went over and did what he did with Minnesota / the Seattle. Who would have, if someone would have told you that Sam Darnold was going to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback 3 years ago,
I would have called you crazy.
Exactly. So I understand that even though I might have a take, it's all just basically based off of what I see and just my evaluation. And it could change based on the situation the player's in. And again, that's why I always say it sucks, because you can have an evaluation of a quarterback, but sometimes the success or lack thereof has a lot to do with the environment that they're placed in, unfortunately. And that's something I have no visibility to. So yeah, but being on here and having the history, I definitely enjoy it.
John Leone's here. What's up, John? He goes, so when will Max be traded? What's up, Lucky? What's up, Robert? Diesel's in the house. Let's see. Hope Spytech makes a deal with Tremaine Edmonds since he got released.
Oh, they actually released him?
That's news to me. I didn't know he did.
Oh.
LV Raider can't be replaced. Sheffield. Yeah, I would be lost without him. You kidding me? We're coming up once the season starts. Nate and I have been doing this show together for 2 years already.
Yeah,
we've been together that long already doing this.
Profile pic that quickly. That's impressive. All
right. Oh, he's crazy with it, man. Jay's in the house from Just Raiders, baby. Let's see who else we got here. We got Charles. What's up, man? We had no idea that he was that history in football. Yeah, it's insane, man. When you listen to what you just said about everything you've done, it's incredible. Oh, sweet Diesel, man. If you're going to be there, that's going to be awesome. If 805 is going to be there, Chris is going to be there, Severe. I don't even know who else is coming, to be honest with you. Have you heard anyone else that's going to the draft?
I think East Coast, Gridiron, he's going to be there.
Okay, yeah, I knew he was going. That's right, yep.
But from when it comes to like the Raiders, like content creators, I'm not sure. I just know of us and Chris Severe. I really want to dial down like a spot where everybody can go to. I don't know what the setup's going to look like, but in all honesty, if it's anything like the other drafts I've been to, I went to the Vegas one out here. Obviously, I was in the area.
Yeah.
I went to the one where they held in Dallas. I'm like, if it's going to be in one massive big area, I'll do what I did down in Dallas. We literally just brought a big old table with some chairs and just brought our drinks to the table and just chilled out in a spot. Just found a spot and just posted up and had a good time. So, but we got to figure out the layout. But yeah, we'll be there. Fun.
Let's see. Bourbon County's in the house. Let's see. Where are we here? 805. I break your balls every now and then. Don't agree with some of your opinions. Sorry. Having said that, it's easy to tell you have great knowledge and have class.
I appreciate it, my Chuck. I know we go back and forth. So,
well, this is what I like. I've always wanted to do a show with you. I know you've popped on in certain times in the past and everything, but to do an actual show like this, this is something I've been wanting to do. And Nate should hopefully be here soon because we were kind of hoping that he was going to be here tonight, but you could have played for the XFL. Yeah, no, I wasn't that good. Let's see. Tanner Jackson in the house. Let's see who else is here. Tyler A's here. What's up, Tyler A? Raider Nation's here. Chico's here. Now, this is a podcast. These two are so legit. Well, I appreciate that. I don't think I'm that legit, but you know what is I don't sugarcoat stuff, I guess is the way I look at it. You know what I mean? I look at things from like the basic fan perspective. Like this is the way I'd like to see things portrayed with the Raiders and how you put it to more of an analytical, like the smart fan would want to do. You know what I mean? Like the meat and potatoes, I guess. I don't know how I want to say that. I'm more like a rough around the edges type of fan. Like, like the whole how I push the whole Max trade thing. I've been saying it for a year now. I know there's a few of us on the whole trading away the number one pick, but like I told Jay in our connection chat today, I said, listen, if we trade Max and we get a couple of first rounders, I'm totally backing off that trading away the first pick. If you want that quarterback, go get him, because now we can do other things. Because now we get maybe an additional one or maybe possibly 2 first-round picks if this comes true. So,
and if we trade Max, I'm still on the trade back.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that too. Yeah, there is going to be quite a few black hole members at the draft too that weekend. I do know on Wednesday night, they've got that big meet and greet going on in downtown Pittsburgh. Where it's like all the fans combined together.
I land at 3:00 on Wednesday in the afternoon.
Yeah, you'll be there probably a couple hours before I get there.
Okay, so I'll be there.
Yeah. So I figure we can hook up and probably go to that night for sure. I definitely want to go to that though. Yeah. When's Chris and Severe coming in? Are they coming in Thursday?
The next morning, I believe.
All right, so Thursday.
In Wednesday night, he's still trying to figure that out, but I think Chris is coming in Thursday morning.
Well, Chris has got a long way to go, right? It's the next state over.
I think Myra G is going to be there Wednesday, I think.
PNW Marks here. I got to catch. Oh, I did catch up to the chat. Awesome. All right. So as long as you want to trade everyone, you will like Jeff. Yeah, right? What's up, Manuel? Max is not leaving. He might next year. If we don't do it this year, the value is going to drop big time. So let's put it that way. So I want to get more into asking you questions about what it is you do before we get into actually talking about the direction for this team and everything. So one of my big questions is, when you watch film, what are the first traits or details you look for that most fans might miss?
Oh, man.
And not so much position specific, just kind of in general, I guess.
So when I guess I can kind of answer one thing. What's really important when you watch game film is to understand the down and distance, the situation. Is it the end of the half? Is it the end of the game? A lot of times when you watch game film, you just kind of watch the play for what it is. But one of the biggest things that it's crucial just to understand what the intention of the play is to know the down and distance. And what the situation in the game is. And that's why I think, whenever I'm breaking on the game film, I try to make sure I tell everybody, okay, this is a 3rd and 12, or this is a 1st and 15. You have to know and understand what the game situation is to truly be able to evaluate the play and what's going on in front of you properly. So I'd say basically, that is one of the biggest things that I pay attention to, is down and distance and what the situation in the game is. So that's definitely a big one.
How does that compare if you're watching? I know you have different time frames that you like during the season. You're watching obviously Raider players from week to week to see where guys can improve. What the reason why this play blew up. But during the off season, how much time do you spend actually looking at like these college kids that are coming out as eligible for the draft? And also on top of that, the free agents too, because I'm sure you look at film for the free agents that we might possibly be interested in.
So it's hard because obviously I don't have a ton of time, obviously with work as well as the family and all that. But what I try to do is, you can kind of take it in two ways. Free agency, I try to go, I could start kind of breaking down game film pretty quickly because obviously I know who the needs are, who we want. the tough part is it's you can spend a ton of time on, let's say I want to break down a corner, and all of a sudden we bring back Eric Stokes. It's like, well, crap. Okay, well, that was kind of worthless because we're most likely not going to bring in an outside free agent. We're just going to bring back Eric Stokes. And so obviously I think looking at the offensive line is going to be huge. And so you kind of want, and this year was a little rough because it took us so long to figure out who our head coach was going to be. And
yeah, so we're a little bit behind. Yeah.
Then you got to do a little more research as to what Clint Kubiak really likes to do on offense. And it's hard to determine what our defense was going to look like because, I said as soon as Clint Kubiak was hired on, we weren't sure who our defense coordinator was going to be. And if you don't know who your defense coordinator is going to be, you don't know what type of defense you're going to run. And Robbie Leonard flipped the script, and he now is running a 3-4. So the first thing I wanted to do was get a really good idea, what does Clint Kubiak like to do on offense? And that was my biggest thing. And so we broke down Clint Kubiak's offense a couple weeks ago. And once I got a good grasp of it, then I wanted to start to kind of take a look at some of the free agents that are out there. It is hard to kind of dedicate a lot of time into looking at some of the free agents because as you kind of see just in the last couple of days, now players are getting released off their teams. And now you have unexpected players now becoming available.
Yeah.
And you look at even with Chicago's starting center just retired. So now Chicago is going to be in the mix. They're going to be putting their hand in the cookie jar when it comes to offensive centers.
Yep.
And so Linderbaum, he might be heading to Chicago. So it's hard to dedicate a lot of time into looking at free agents. I do like to kind of work a little bit more as it relates to the draft. And because no matter what, doesn't matter if you're picking a position early in the draft, you always got to find kind of those guys in the back half of the draft that can still help you. And that's where kind of, in my opinion, I think that's kind of where the meat is kind of in that 2nd to 5th round range.
Yeah.
From 2nd to 5th round, man, there is so much talent that can be found if you do your research, if you understand kind of what you're looking at. And I've said this before, and it's really tough. It's not to disrespect really anybody. Again, it just kind of goes back to just my history on it because I've coached it for 23 years, played it for a long time. It's like there's a very big difference between watching game film and knowing and understanding what you're watching. And that's for myself. I've kind of prided myself on that, not just through this whole content creating thing, but also, back when I coached football and played football, I prided myself on knowing my enemy better than I know myself. Or know my enemy better than I know my own team.
Yeah.
And so, rounds 2 to 5, man, you can find some meat on the bone, and that's kind of where I start to kind of do my research. And you can find some diamonds. That's why I got hated. My who was it? God damn it, Jacob Parrish. People didn't like my Jacob Parrish take last year in the mock drafts, but he ended up being an all-pro rookie as a slot corner. And so there's some diamonds. So,
well, we got a surprise. Look who's here.
Yeah, there.
What's good? What's good?
What's going on, brother?
Nate made it. What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's up?
That's not that bad. I thought you were going to be later than that. Works out not bad.
I thought so too. I thought that the traffic was going to be a lot worse. That's why.
Oh, that's good then. That's a good thing. Well, I'm glad you're here. So I just I put your YouTube channel in 805 in the chat, so everybody's got that. And pretty much everybody already knows what type of content that he offers. So make sure you check his channel out if you haven't already. Make sure you get over to 805 RealTalk Raider Nation, and hit that sub, hit the notifications. He goes on every Wednesday night along with Chris from Protect the Shield and T Severe. So make sure you check those guys out. They go out Wednesday nights and they're on Sunday nights. Usually during the season, it's not too long after the game, and they kind of talk about the game that just happened. And they do a lot of breakdown on plays, and he's got a great game that they do. You mix it up a little bit though. He does the start him, bench him, cut him, and some people always try and cheat. I don't know why they try and cheat and put their message out there before you even offer it. I don't get it.
There's no cheaters on the screen that you see right here either.
No, absolutely not. No. And hey, real quick, folks, make sure you get over to Nate's channel, LV Raider 10. It's scrolling at the bottom there. It's the same name for his Instagram, Twitter, everything. Make sure you show him the love. If you're on my channel, hop over to his channel. Now give him the watch time, the views, the thumbs up. So if you leave my channel, just make sure you smack that thumbs up before you move over to Nate's. But please go over to Nate's channel. We need to get this man going and get his numbers up. Come on. Got more than enough people that watch me. Move over to Nate's channel. Outside of beating you guys over the head, I don't know what else to tell you. So Nate, do you have the sheet that I sent you?
I'm trying to open everything up still right now, but I did see it in my what's it called?
Okay, so then I'm just gonna take the next one here. So, so basically, how much of the combine did you watch? 805. Did you get to watch any of it?
Probably about 90% of it, to be honest.
Okay.
On the live, the biggest part of the combine I kind of gloss over is the 40 time. I don't watch much of the 40 at all. I like more just the agility drills. And obviously like the ball drills with the receivers, stuff like that. Sometimes with the cornerbacks, the DBs. But what's really tough for me is when I evaluate combine, it's like 90% game film and 10% combine. I really don't put much merit in the combine at all, to be honest. The only reason why I watch it is if someone pops out on film that wasn't on my radar already.
Okay.
Give the example of a couple years ago, Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving was not on my radar as a running back, but when I watched him in the combine, I was like, oh shit, okay, who's this kid? Went back and watched his game film, and I said, okay, hey, he looks like he's got some talent on him. So I kind of, when I watch the combine, I look for certain things, but more specifically just guys that weren't on my radar, and then I'll go back and kind of do my research if I like what I see.
Nate, if you got it open, that you can do that one. It's the combine question.
Let me see.
Savage is in the house. What's up, man? Can we still make that podcast trade, Jeff? What, trading me for Asylum? Oh, it reminds me. Hang on, Savage is in the chat. Hold on. Can't forget this. Yes. Gonna bring out the championship fantasy football belt that I won off of Savage's chat, his league. I beat him for it. Third place team and fourth place team played for the championship, and I beat his ass. And he sent me the belt.
Nice.
We both knocked off the top two teams. It was great.
You're talking about the biggest winners? You want me to ask him about the biggest winners?
That one. Yeah.
All right.
And then we'll go from there.
So from the combine, what you did see, who was the biggest risers in your opinion on the combine?
The biggest risers, I think the one that kind of popped off a little bit. Obviously, you got that running back out of Arkansas, Washington, I believe it was. Obviously, him clearing that 4.3 was impressive. So I think that definitely jumped him up. I think people were already high on this guy a little bit, but I think his combine definitely helped him and kind of puts him even higher up in the mix. And maybe he was an early second round. He might even find himself definitely jumping into the first round. Is that kid from Arizona State, offensive tackle, Max? I never can pronounce it.
Elichinor? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Elena Shaw. I know who you're talking about. I have no clue how to pronounce that guy's name.
Yeah. You look at his combine. I think a lot of people already liked him. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's kind of moved himself up just a little bit more. Maybe he was talked about as an early second. Now moved himself into the first round. I think Jacob Rodriguez helped his stock a little bit. Obviously, you got to talk about Stoney Styles. I mean, him just flying with his 40 time, just the athleticism that he shows. I saw some NFL analyst basically hint at the fact that if we trade back, there might be a fight for someone to go up and get him at number one. That's
really?
Obviously, in what context they were saying it, who knows? But Yeah, I just think as it relates to just the combine, you had some guys that were maybe on the radar, in the second round, and I think that they definitely improved their stock. I don't exactly know. This is what's really difficult is the mock draft simulators. I said this when we kind of did our first mock drafts last year. They're great, they're fun, but they give a false indication as to where these guys are really going to go. I think that's what's really tough. I think in the top maybe 15, it's pretty spot on for the most part. Anything after that, you just have one or two teams that go just off the radar, and they just go when they think they're going right. So like two or three teams are going to go left, and it's going to throw everything off. And so anything kind of like the back half of the first, and you go into second and third, all that. I think it's tough. The mock draft simulators just give just a really false indication where these guys are actually going to get drafted. And so, God, the linebacker I was just talking about.
Sonny Styles?
No, Texas Tech.
Oh, Jacob Rodriguez, yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
I'm curious where he's going to go. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think initially ending the college football season, people may be thinking he's in the third. With his combine stock, did he jump up to the second? And where in the second? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think that's where it really is difficult to kind of read where these guys are going to fall. But also, you got to get the first run of free agency in the books to really understand where these guys are going to truly fall on draft day. So,
Kev wants to know how many bottles of 1800 we got to pay to get on here.
Hey, Chris, protect the shield. He's the 1800 guy. I'm the Scotch guy. I love my Scotch.
Well, speaking of mock drafts, you're also this guy too.
Tug water.
I couldn't resist.
It's so funny though, and I'm always going to remember that because I earned that name. I say I earned that, but I earned that name off of the Jacob Parrish draft last year. When I picked up Jacob Parrish, I got the hot dog water, but I get the last laugh because Jacob Parrish was the All-Pro rookie slot corner this year. So.
You know what's funny is because you talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I know last year when we were doing mock drafts, there's one guy that I used to pick religiously, and you did too, and you were doing it because of the name, the same reason I did it, and he played in the Super Bowl, this kid, and he went late, if I'm not mistaken, really late, or I think he might have even been an undrafted free agent.
Craig Woodson.
Oh, Craig Woodson.
And he was actually really good this year.
Yeah.
He was always going maybe 6th or 7th round, and I believe the Patriots got him in like the 3rd round.
Yeah, was it later than that though? But I know that he got picked last year. That's what it was. He wasn't an undrafted. He got picked, and I remember you saying that last week, and I'm like, yeah, I did the same thing last year because I went back and looked at my last year's drafts. I still had him saved, and I'm like, yeah, see, look, I did take him every time.
Yeah, so
which is funny because there's someone else in this draft that's got a familiar name too.
No, Craig Woodson. Yeah, man, I really like Craig Woodson coming out of Cal. Like that, I thought he was going to be an absolute stud. And I'm sitting there going, I can get him in the 6th in these mock drafts or 7th. I'm pulling the trigger all day, every day. But then all of a sudden, yeah, he goes pretty early. So,
Money Chuck wants to say, he says, I don't hear anyone really talking about free safeties. What prospects do you like, and what round would you pull the trigger on one, or would you address it in free agency?
So
what's up, Ja Raider?
We have so many needs. I think if we went and draft, if we don't address like an actual possible starter in free agency, I'm probably waiting until maybe round 4 or 5 to address the safety position because we have so many needs. But again, I got to see how we address free agency. I do like Bud Clark at a TCU. I think he's going to go earlier than I'd like. There's the South Carolina kid. I'm blanking on his name, unfortunately. The kid from, and it's not because LV's on here, but the safety from USC.
Kamari Ramsey.
Yeah. I think that I got to watch more film on that kid, but I do think that kid has some potential. I do have a sleeper though, because if I'm waiting for maybe around the 6th round to get a safety, maybe if he drops to the 7th, one guy that I'd like the more and more I watch his film is Whiteout Williams out of Ole Miss, the safety out of Ole Miss. If we don't address it in free agency, we kind of wait a little bit in the draft around 6th, 7th round. Whiteout Williams out of Ole Miss, I really like the kid. He's 6'2", about 205 pounds. He'll come downhill. He'll come hit you, but he will definitely cover half the field for you. So that's definitely a guy that I'm going to be eyeballing in the later rounds in the draft. But again, I don't know if I want to go safety early in this draft, because there's so many position needs that I think we need to address. That if we get a decent pass rush, if we get some core linebackers, I think we're good enough right now. Because in year one, you're not going to address every single position. You just can't at a high level. And so if you can kind of just roll with what we have, again, Isaiah Paul-Amal, not the best free safety, but he's serviceable, and you still have him. You got Jeremy Chin that's going to be obviously more in the box. And so, can you kind of get a guy in the later rounds to kind of be a backup, maybe a competition piece, and get a year under his belt and maybe replace Isaiah Paul-Amal at some point if you want to. But I just think, man, we have so many needs. I definitely want to take some big swings early on other positions. Mm-hmm. But Whiteout Williams out of Ole Miss, definitely a guy I'm looking at the later rounds.
So let me ask you this then. Again, still with the combine before we move on to the next thing. Was there anybody that you think raised their draft stock by the numbers they put up at the combine? Or have you seen anybody in the rankings that's moved up because of the combine that you weren't expecting them to move up?
I don't know. Outside of just the guys that obviously ran fast, I don't know if there's anybody that I saw. And again, I could have missed guys, but I don't know of anybody that truly just shot their draft stock up. Again, you got the Williams kid, the running back. I think he shot up his draft stock. Shit. Again, it goes back to like Sonny Styles. He's talked about like a top 3 now, but before it was the other.
He was insane
linebacker. So yeah, it was hard. I was definitely focused more on just I want to see Ty Simpson throw a little bit. I don't put too much stock into it, but I wanted to see him throw, just to see if he would help his stock. And I focused on the offensive lineman and the defensive lineman as well. But I got a defensive lineman that if we wait, I think there's a guy in this draft that we can maybe get. I want to say in the 3rd round or so, that could be a true nose guard for us.
Who was that?
Chris McClellan from Missouri.
Okay.
Scotty's 6'3", 323 pounds. Looked good in the combine. Had good feet, good quickness, good balance. And so I went back and I kind of watched this film. And what I was seeing, I'm like, damn, if this guy is in the 3rd and we need a true nose guard, he's got some quickness off the ball. He can get sideline to sideline if he needs to, as a big body. He does a really good job of being able to kind of control the center off the initial snap, and he's able to kind of get rid of him. He can 2-gap as well. So I think if we wait to maybe like the 3rd round and address some other needs early, I think he could be a guy that could step right in and be that nose guard and play him next to Adam Butler. I think it'd be a pretty good tandem.
Nate, did you see anybody? I don't know how much you watched of it.
Honestly, I haven't really watched a ton of it. I've been a little busy with work. But from what I did see, and I just watched some highlights, and it's really just like 805 said, the guys that always run fast in the 40s, they always have their stock rise for sure. For whatever reason, they always keep that at a high value is the 40. So yeah, guys like Sonny Styles and Jacob Rodriguez that we've seen run His stock is going up too. So, just the main guys that really run fast is they go higher.
There was one other than Sonny Styles that I thought jumped out, but it's like we don't need the position, unfortunately. But if we didn't take this kid, is that kid Sadiq? Oh my God, the tight end.
Oh, Kenyon Sadiq.
Holy crap, he was. Not only just the athleticism that he presented on the field, but the guy he's got hands. I mean, he's a physical specimen. I mean, the guy is just jacked, so he's in great shape. He's strong. And it just, anybody that needs a tight end in this league, if they don't grab this kid, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what his game film looks like. I don't know if you've seen an 805, but from what I saw just from the combine itself, yeah, I think he shot his stock up big time. And the only other one that I'm kind of like, if we get him, I'd be extremely happy, is that kid from Kansas State, Hetch, the center.
Oh, Sam Heck.
Yeah, the kid with the big bubble ass. That's the one thing that stuck out when I saw him compared to all the other offensive linemen. All the other offensive linemen had different, had similar body styles. His is the one that stuck out the most because his back end was just so big. I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, guys, I'm like, Jesus Christ. But we always say we want a center that's a little heavier in the ass. I mean, I liked what I saw from the kid, So
the kind of going back to Sadiq, I think obviously run that 40 time is going to be nasty. Like he is going to jump up the board.
Yeah.
Without question. Oh God, did Jay just?
No.
Did it happen?
No, I don't think it did. I think everyone is just trolling.
Are they trolling? Okay.
Yeah, I think they're just
with Sadiq, what's really interesting is he's coming from Oregon, which Oregon plays such a different style of offense than the NFL. They're more of just true air raid. They're going to spread everything out. They're going to run a lot of verticals. They run a lot of screens. That's why a lot of receivers like Oregon receivers don't translate well to the NFL.
Yeah.
Because they're not full route tree type of guys. And so I think that's what makes it really difficult with Sadiq is how whatever team he goes to, how are they going to use him? And is he going to be able to run every single route that he's going to need to in the NFL? Again, not saying he can't, but you just look at the history of NFL receivers / tight ends that go to the NFL, or Oregon receivers / tight ends that go to the NFL. Sometimes they just don't translate very well because they're not coached to kind of run the type of routes that they're going to have to in the National Football League, which hurts them with being able to kind of get separation. And so I think that's where we'll be really interested. It'll be interesting to see just kind of how he translates to the NFL. But hey, his 40 time, absolute beast, and that's definitely going to help him. Yes, Jay, you got me. I'm trying to talk a little educated over here, Jay. You're screwing me up.
What's the next banner on here? What I have this one. So this one here. What prospects in your mind do you think we should be looking for this in this draft?
I think if you talk specific prospects, I mean, I can go by position groups first. Obviously, we got to know what we're gonna do in free agency, but obviously we got to take a look at the offensive line. And we're only taking a look at it because I have no clue what we have out of this offensive line. Yeah. You cannot base what we saw last year to give us a really good indication as to what this offensive line looks like. Brendan Carroll was horrible. And it's tough because, I went on a live with Rundown and Chris and Severe and I believe Lunatic. He brought us all on. And this was, I believe, in May of last year. And Rundown asked me, what's your biggest concern going into this season? This is after free agency, after the draft, right? And I said my biggest concern was Brendan Carroll. Because you look at his resume, He does not deserve to be an offensive line coach in the NFL. He just doesn't. And giving him that job and knowing that we have to have one of the best offense. I'm a big Bill in the trenches guy. You have to have a very good offensive line. That was my biggest concern. And here we sit. And so the question is, what do we truly have in this offensive line? Can we get JPJ kind of back on track and showing the promise that he showed at the end of 2024? And where is he going to play? Is it center? Is it guard? We don't know. How good is Caleb Rogers really? Can we see some progress from last year? Is he good? DJ Glaze showed promise at the tail end of last year, at the 2024 season. Then he just completely regressed. Is it coaching or is it truly a sophomore slump? I don't know. Then you have Jordan Meredith. Jordan Meredith ended the 2024 season as a good, serviceable guard. But then he fell off because you switch him around. You move him from a guard to a center position that he's never played before.
Yeah.
Switching from a guard to a center is like taking an X receiver, put him at tight end. It's night and day. The technique, everything is completely different. And the knowledge of the game is probably the hardest thing for any lineman, guard, tackle, to transition to center. It's not just technique. It's the knowledge of the position. You're the one that has to make the line calls. At the guard or tackle position, you know what your job is, plus the two guys next to you. That's about it. Jordan Meredith, you're the guard. I know what my tackle's doing. I know what my center's doing. But the moment you go to center, you need to know what everybody's doing because you got the line calls, and he never did it before.
Yeah.
And so before you even talk about technique, he didn't even have just the knowledge of what it takes to play center. And that could have affected everybody else's blocking scheme on the offensive line. If Jordan Meredith is making the wrong O-line calls, that could affect JPJ. It could affect DJ Glaze, so everything is a ripple effect. And so because we basically screwed everything up, I got 2025 as a wash when it comes to the offensive line.
Oh, God, yeah.
So
yeah,
I think it'll be a really good indicator as to how we address the offensive line in free agency to kind of get an idea, okay, how bad is this offensive line? Like how much help do we need? It is good that we have Rick Dennison as the coach because he's got
I love it.
experience to be able to walk in that building and have a good indication as to what he's got to work with. And so kind of going back, I think we got to take a look at offensive line. We have to go look at linebackers. We switch up the defensive scheme. We absolutely depleted our linebacker room. We got to look at linebackers. We got to look at interior defensive linemen that fit a 3-4 scheme. And so I think that's the two biggest needs. But outside of that, fullback / tight end. Clint Kubiak, we broke down just kind of what he likes to do on offense, and I had about 11 plays that showcase what he'd like to do with the fullback. And he said it in an interview after we broke down his offense that it sounds like he's going to be looking for his fullback. So whether that's through free agency, whether that's through the draft, I don't know, but I definitely think we're going to be looking for a fullback.
Just real quick, shout out to Afakasi with the $2 super chat. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you very much, man. Always a big supporter of all our channels. I appreciate him so much, man. What you're saying to a lot of people don't realize, to go from, like you said, from a tackle to a guard to a center is tough. It's an easy, and I've played all three positions on the line before, in semi-pro too. And I will say the easier transition is from center to any one of those other two positions, because again, you're focused on one thing and one thing only. Whereas, like you said, as a center, you have to learn so much, and to make that transition from a tackle to a center is that's a tough one. That is an extremely tough position to learn if you've never played, especially if you've never played center before. So which is why I'm so big on getting a bona fide center on this roster, because in my opinion, first of all, we drafted him as a guard, and that's JPJ. We put him at center his rookie year. Yes, he had some great games while he was in that position. Last year, I take everything that happened, like you said, with him and Glaze as a one-off, that it's not them. which is why I say that I think they need to seriously sit down with both of them separately and get their head straight again. Let them know that last year was not on them, because they dicked around with JPJ so much last year. You destroyed that kid's confidence and probably his whole mental preparedness for a game. And Glaze too. They need to let them know that, listen, what happened last year, that's on us as an organization for having the wrong coach there. Basically, a guy that wasn't even a coach. I mean, he wasn't even doing shit to help them. Once everything came out after he was gone, that's ridiculous. How that, Spytech as a GM is over here running game film with these guys. It's not the GM's job, but that just shows me that Spytech's doing what he can to help these guys win and be successful, But yeah, it's just I'm so pissed at how that went last year, that they did those guys. They stunted their growth is what they really did. They set them both back because they had such a great rookie season. And then last year was just, that's why I expect great things from both of them. Well, maybe not Glaze as much, but definitely from JPJ. So
yeah, and you got Charles Grant that's right behind DJ Glaze a little bit.
I like Grant, but I like Caleb Rogers a lot. He should, and that's the other thing that tells me how bad that coaching staff was for that line. That based on what I saw his first playtime experience, I asked myself, I'm like, why was he not starting sooner? He has the fundamentals down. He looks good, and then when he finally was put in as the full-time starter for the rest of the season, the kid played great. I thought he did a hell of a job. Yeah, he's made some rookie mistakes. No big deal. I get that. It's going to happen. But I thought he did a great job. And I look forward to big things for him coming this year. He should be starting. I see him starting from the get-go this coming year.
Yeah. I guess, in my opinion, I think with Caleb Rogers, he played good enough to know that, okay, you possibly have a piece there. You have a piece that you can go with. I think where it's and I think where we saw some progress with Caleb Rogers, also some progress with Charles Grant, and obviously I'm not anywhere near the coaching staff, but what I do know is you have assistant coaches, and one of our assistant coaches was Joe Philbin. Joe Philbin was our assistant offensive line coach. And typically what your assistants do is they will take some of the backups and work with them directly. They're more like developmental coaches. They're more on the side of, okay, head offensive line coach, Brendan Carroll, you're taking the starters. You're working with them probably 75% of the time. Whereas these backups, you're working in when we go team, but you're working with Joe Philbin. Obviously, Joe Philbin is an offensive-minded guy himself, former head coach, former offensive coordinator. He understands the inner workings of the offensive line. He might have been able to do a better job of just helping Charles Grant and Caleb Rogers with their development a little bit. Whereas Brendan Carroll is just chopping the knees of all of our goddamn offensive linemen and just making them look like crap, or starting offensive linemen. And so, and the one thing I will say, and the other reason why it's just an absolute wash, is not only are you moving offensive linemen around, even with Alice Kappa. Alice Kappa was a guard, and then they moved him to center, which I believe he only played like 2 games of center before. And this is within an offense that's completely brand new to all of them. Chip Kelly was a brand new offensive coordinator. So not only are these offensive linemen trying to now learn positions that they've never really played before, but they're also trying to learn an entirely new offense with new line calls and everything. It was literally a complete disaster. And that's why I look at this offensive line going, I have no clue what we have. And I look at 2025 as a complete wash. So I'm going to be really curious just to see how we address certain things moving forward with the offensive line.
Nate, you want to do the last one on that front page?
Let's see. Do you think the Raiders should spend big in free agency or focus more on building through the draft?
So I am a massive build through the draft guy. I think if you want sustained success, you have to draft well and you have to coach well. If you want instant success and temporary success, you go to free agency. And I think that was my biggest issue with John Gruden. John Gruden made a bunch of splashes, but he couldn't draft well. They couldn't coach well. So any success that we saw in a small stint with John Gruden, it was going to be very, very short-lived because he just failed to draft well. We also didn't do well at free agents. But I think that you strategically address the free agents, the free agent market. You want to splash a little bit, but you splash in ways that you can help find this team get a momentum. So, for example, right, in our position right now, we're rebuilding. So let's build our confidence first. And the way you build your confidence is you build the offensive line, so it kind of helps the offense gel a little bit better. If you have a young quarterback, you have that fail safe of being able to hand off the ball and getting that 3rd and 3, or making the sticks a little bit shorter on 1st and 10. You can run the ball, you get 5 to 6 yards, and now you're in a 2nd and 4 situation where it opens up the playbook. I think you build that offensive line. So if you want to splash in free agency, I say build the offensive line, and at the same time, go get yourself a number 1 corner. Get yourself a good corner. Because I think when you have a good corner and you can almost shut down half the field, but at the same time, you can shut down their number 1 receiver target, it helps kind of everybody else. So go get your number 1 corner. Go get yourself a lockdown corner. Build the offensive line. But I also think you got to definitely get some good interior defensive linemen. If you could do a good job of stopping the run, keep that offense that you're facing one-dimensional, it helps out really everything else. And so in our position right now with the rebuild, I say build the offensive line, build the interior of the defensive line, go get yourself a shutdown number 1 corner. And I think that's going to help with everybody else. Just kind of learn the system and continue with the building blocks. But I don't say big splashes because you can roll over money to next year. You only have to spend, I think, 89% of your salary cap. In a rebuild, roll over that 10 to 11% into next year, where this year, depending on what we do with some of our, like with Max Crosby, with Geno, with Alex Kappa, let's say all 3 of them, they move on. We could end up having the number 1 or the top salary cap space in the National Football League with, I want to say roughly around, it's like 130 plus million. Mm-hmm. Well, that means you could roll 10 to 11% of that over. And this year you have the most salary cap space. And next year you're still in like top 3 salary cap position to continue to build this thing. So I think splash, but do it strategically. That kind of helps all the other position groups kind of make the rebuild a little bit easier.
See, and Cool Kev says Gruden set us back big time. I don't think Gruden did, because the team was going in the right direction. Anybody that set us back, it was McDumdum. He's the one he dismantled that team that he took over. That team was already playoff team, and he could have just built on that. And he went in, I don't know what direction he was thinking. He's the one that set it. We got set back the moment they hired that son of a bitch. That's my opinion on that.
He set us back in a sense, in my opinion. I think he set us back with being able to build consistent success.
Yeah.
I hated the Khalil Mack trade only because Khalil Mack is in his prime. He wasn't into his 2nd contract or anything like that. He was in his prime. But I understood, because look, you want to build this thing and you build the right way, you rebuild properly, you get the most draft capital you can out of your most prized asset. But I think the way that he handled those draft picks, it did not set us up for sustained success and continued success. And I think that's where Gruden definitely set us back. Was, God, I mean, he missed a lot in free agency. I mean, the Corey Littleton acquisition, that was bad. What was that? Joyner, the safety, that was a rough one. I don't even get me started on the Antonio Brown, the Trent Brown pickup.
God, he's a superstar.
Like, it was bad. And so I just think that, yes, we saw some success a little bit, right? The record itself improved a little bit, but I think it was because we didn't draft well and because the free agents we picked up really, really hurt us and didn't work out. I think wasn't he I think he was the Leatherwood pickup too, the draft.
Yeah, he was.
We weren't going to have sustained success. It was going to crumble quickly. And I think letting him go and pick up Josh McDaniels was like the icing on the cake. That was if we're cutting your legs out, we just chopped them completely off with McDaniels.
Oh yeah. So. Yeah. We left you at the waist. Yeah. And Bueno says trade Colton Miller next. He doesn't, but the only problem is you don't trade a caliber of a left tackle like him unless you've got a definite plan. You better be ready to replace him with someone that's as adequate as he is, or damn near close. And that ain't on this roster right now. So if that is the plan, that's why I can't get behind trading Colton Miller. You need to get somebody ready to take over for him. Keep him for the 2 years. No, I wouldn't trade him away. Absolutely not. I don't think you're going to get as much as you think for him either. That's the other thing.
I don't think you trade him because we may go young on the offensive line. We do have a bunch of youngsters on this offensive line anyways. Because this offensive line has to work as a unit, I'm a firm believer you're only as good as your weakest link when it comes to the offensive line, i.e. Dylan Parham. I think you need a veteran presence on this offensive line to kind of help some of these younger guys develop. And I think Colton Miller is the right guy to do that. Obviously we know that he still can be a very, very serviceable left tackle. If we can get the best out of him for the next year, maybe two, without any injuries, then he can help in that offensive line room and be able to kind of help develop some of these younger guys. And so I'm a firm believer you need a veteran on the offensive line to kind of help the development. So that's the only reason why I definitely would keep Colton Miller around him. You got 5 offensive linemen, you let him go. That means that's just another massive hole that you got to fill. And we have so many at so many positions. You already got a good one. Just keep him for now. And obviously, hopefully he can help with the development of the rest of the offensive line.
So I got a couple questions from the chat that I highlighted. So I want to bring these up right now. So first one's from, there it is. From Jay from Just Raiders, baby. He goes, would JPJ be cool as a guard primarily in backup center? If Linderbaum can't be obtained, would you go with JPJ or take a flyer at McGovern? I like McGovern as a second option to try and get if we lose the Linderbaum thing. But go ahead, I'll let you answer that.
Well, what I did hear today, that we brought back Will Putnam. God damn it! How the hell that guy made it was wild to me.
What the fuck?
So I was messaging Chris and Severe, and I basically, as soon as I saw the Will Putnam, I think Chris sent to me. I said if Will Putnam ends up being on this 53-man roster and Jordan Meredith does not end up on it, I'm going to lose all hope with understanding football. But Will Putnam, I don't understand. So he's a backup center. Look, I think JPJ can play any position, center or guard. I think he could be good at either or. The question and concern I have with him at center is that concussion issue. His injury, his past injuries. Like the last thing you want is having to deal with an injured center, coming and going from games, being injured for a game or two. The center is the quarterback of the offensive line. So I'd love to have a veteran there. I'd love to have someone that is healthy. So for me, I think there's a chance JPJ does stay at guard. I like Linderbaum. Problem is, I'm willing to overpay for the offensive line. I'm willing to overpay for the offensive line, but I'm not willing to get robbed. And I'm hearing that his value is like skyrocketing right now. And so I just don't know how much I'm willing to overpay if it's a massive bidding war. Again, Chicago's center just retired, so they're going to be in play for a center. They might be going after Linderbaum. I have to do more research on McGovern because I want to see just kind of how good McGovern is and how does he compare to Linderbaum. I've been doing a little bit of research. I've been watching a little bit of game film on Linderbaum, and yes, there are some concerns in his pass blocking, and he needs to improve on that. And if you end up getting into a bidding war with a guy that you have some question marks as it relates to his pass blocking ability, I don't want to get in a bidding war for a guy like that. I want as much of a polished position group player at that position if I'm going to be getting in a bidding war and paying a lot more than I'd like to. So
Yeah.
do a little more research on McGovern, really see what he brings to the table, and then that'll give me a better idea as to who I want to kind of splash on. But I am willing to overpay on the offensive line because, again, I'm a big build the trenches guy.
And we did talk about that last night on the Raider Connection, because I did mention that, you know, he does have a lower grade when it comes to pass blocking, but the whole plan is hopefully that this team is under Kubiak is going to be a run first option. You know, we're going to be hopefully a heavy run game is what I'm hoping for. But either way, I agree with you as far as what you said about a more polished position for sure. There's another one from Jar Raider. Question: knowing what that Kubiak, McCoy, Andrew will be available QB coach, is that a bad move for them to probably lose focus on their assignment? Because that's the one thing, we haven't hired a quarterback coach.
No. But I think Andrew Janocko is going to do it.
Yeah.
I think he's offensive coordinator. I think he's going to handle the quarterbacks. Clint Kubiak's going to be one-on-one with the quarterback a lot of the time. Obviously, bringing on what's his face, Mike McCoy, as the assistant head coach. I think Clint Kubiak already came out in his interview basically stating that Mike McCoy is going to do quite a bit of just kind of helping him with the head coaching duties and stuff like that. And so I'm sure Clint Kubiak is going to be one-on-one with the quarterback quite often. But I think, in my opinion, I think Andrew Janocko, he's offensive coordinator, but because Clint Kubiak is truly the offensive coordinator, Janocko is probably going to be working one-on-one with that quarterback 90% of the time. So I don't know if it's going to be that big of an issue because of just how close-knit of a relationship Kubiak and Janocko have. They're going to be on the same page, hitting the ground running already. And so I think we'll be okay.
All right, we got a couple more questions here, then we're going to get into some fun stuff. So I'm going to ask you this one. Who's the one sleeper prospect that isn't getting enough attention right now that you think out of what you've seen so far?
Are you talking college or free agency?
We'll go both. Either one.
Oh, Jesus. Let's see. College. Obviously, it's more about just what we need. Makai Lemon. Oh no, I'm joking. I'm joking, Nate. Geez. That's a good question. Let me think about that one. I don't, man, off the top of my head, just I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, I have some of my sleepers, but they're sleepers for
stumped them. We stumped them.
Who needs more?
All right, Nate, hit him with the next one, the rapid fire one.
Rapid fire. Who is the most underrated player currently on the Raiders roster?
Most underrated player.
What's boy? What's up, Chewy?
I think I got two. And I think they have a good chance of just not necessarily, I don't want to call it like a breakout season, but I think they're going to help more, especially given the fact that we changed to a 3-4. I like Charles Snowden. Just ended up bringing him back. It was just announced that we are going to bring him back. I think Charles Snowden is going to have a pretty good season this year in a 3-4 defense. And I also like Jonah Laulu. He flashed last year. I think, we broke down when the whole Christian Wilkins stuff happened. We broke down his game film again from the 2024 season, and basically leaving that game film, I basically said that Jonah Laulu was going to end up being the more productive interior defensive lineman for us, and he ended up being more productive across the board. And so I think that he's going to have a decent year. I think switching to a 3-4 is definitely going to help those guys just with the 2026 season, just producing a little bit more. So I think those two are probably my most underrated guys going into this season right now.
This is going to be a great question because I'm dying to hear your answer. First of all, real quick, on that question, who's the most underrated? So Jason Marshall said AJ Cole, and where's Buenos? Oh, did he delete it? Oh, here it is. Most underrated on the Raiders is Deuce Gruden.
So underrated. See him.
Jason also said Trey Tucker.
Yeah, Trey Tucker's he's tough because I've said the last couple seasons, he's played out of position. 2 years ago, Devonta Adams exit. Now he's got to switch up and be that number 2. And then as soon as he was the number 2, Jacoby Myers got injured for a game or two, and now he ended up being the number 1. And he just kept moving around. And then last year, again, he was just used out of position. If you can use Trey Tucker as a true slot receiver, which we kind of saw the first, I want to say 4 or 5 games last year, I do think that he can be someone that you could use as a weapon on an offense. Again, it's not that he's going to get, 6, 7, 8 catches. That's not going to happen. But could he get 3 to 4 quality catches that can maybe get you across the 50-yard line, have you playing on the opposite end of the field, just enough to where the defense has to worry about you? I think he can be that if he's used properly. So it'll be interesting to see just kind of how we use Trey Tucker moving forward.
So I'm going to ask one more last question here before we get into it. Actually, no, we're going to finish these off now that I look at them. This one here, I'm going to love your answer for this one. I'm dying to hear this one. What do you see as the biggest weakness on this team right now?
Because I said I have so many question marks at the offensive line, I just don't know the offensive line is going to bring. I think without question, it has to be the linebacker room, because we all know Tommyami ain't the answer. We'll know if John was in here.
Yeah, we'll find out if he's still in the chat.
The linebacker room is just depleted. I liked Cody Lindenberg last year, but again, it was for a 7th rounder. So when you get somebody in the 7th round, I was kind of pumping my arms for Cody Lindenberg because we didn't pick a linebacker early. And I thought he could definitely produce and contribute in special teams, and that's what you want out of a late round guy. So you got Cody Lindenberg. He's not going to be a starting linebacker this year, if at all. But I think that is one of the biggest needs. I have no faith in this receiver room, to be honest with you. I'm not a big Jack Besh fan. I'm not a big
You're not alone.
We need a quarterback. So we have so
need a lot
needs, but offensive line is just a question mark. But I definitely think linebackers, receivers, and quarterback, we got to figure that out pretty quickly.
What's up, Rick? Nate, you got the next one. The third from the list.
Yeah, is there a player currently on the roster that Raider Nation might be sleeping on?
Might be sleeping on? If we bring him back, I want to see what Malcolm Kuntz can do. A year after kind of recovering off that injury, typically it takes a full season to kind of recover from the injury that he had. If we do take a flyer and bring him back on a cheap contract, I'd be really curious what he could do in this 3-4 defense. You know, you look at what God, I'm blanking on his name, the Georgia kid that plays for the Eagles. He was kind of an undersized kind of edge rusher.
Oh, no.
I'm blanking on his name. He was more of an edge rusher over at Georgia, but he was undersized, so people were kind of they weren't know how he was going to transition to the NFL, but he ended up being productive over with the Eagles. I see him playing a very similar role in a 3-4 defense. I'm blanking on his name, but he's from Georgia. I think Malcolm Kuntz could be kind of a guy that's just kind of being slept on if he can kind of bring back that 2023 season, the tail end of the 2023 season, after a full year off that injury. That's not Kobe Dean. It's
no.
He's a Georgia Bulldog. I'm just blanking on his name.
Is it Nolan Smith?
Yeah, Nolan Smith. So I think he can play a very similar role. And again, I'm not saying that Malcolm Kuntz is always going to pop off and have double-digit stacks. But if he can come off an ACL like that, have a year to recover, but at the same time, you get him on a cheap contract and he pops off and gets himself, as I think he had 5 sacks this year. So he kind of under the radar, kind of got to the quarterback a little bit in a rotational role after having a very slow start, rightfully so, coming off of his injury. If he just kind of under the radar gets like 7 sacks, 8 sacks next year as a rotational guy, that's pretty damn good if you get him on a cheap contract. So I think he might be a guy that could be under the radar if we get him on a cheap one.
Have you never had a knee injury in when you played, did you?
Nope, just the collarbone.
All right. Well, that's bad in itself too. But yeah,
and I broke both my thumbs. I got them stuck in face masks when I was tackling people. It sucked.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, definitely, I can see that happening. I mean, I get why he might be still so timid, is because again, the knee injury is no joke. Especially one that serious. So we got 2 last questions, and then we're going to get into some fun here. Give us one absolute prospect you love out of this draft. Just one.
Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah. There you go, Pavia. And Nate, give me your answer too. I'm curious to see what you think.
Like one that is possible to get.
Yeah, give us one draft prospect you absolutely love as a fit for the Raiders.
Because I can realistically say Mekhi Lemon, but one that is actually possible to get, I have to think about it a little bit.
One that I absolutely love. I've said this before. I think this draft class is a little rough, to be honest, compared to previous.
It is.
Man, who would I absolutely love to get out of this draft? If we go quarterback, because we need a quarterback, and people are going to hate it. The more and more I watch this kid, I do like him. And if we go quarterback round 1, I'm not going Mendoza. I'm going Ty Simpson. I think he's the most pro-ready quarterback coming out of this draft, and I think he has all the tools to match up with what Clint Kubiak likes to do. And so I really do like what Ty Simpson brings to the table. If we went quarterback first round, and actually I had this conversation with Severe after we kind of got off line last night, is what I also hate about it is I think next year's quarterback class is going to be the nastiest we've seen in a long time.
Agreed.
And there's not very many quarterback needy teams next year.
So real quick, can you just say who you think you would take instead of so-and-so? Who is it again?
I would, if we went quarterback first round, I'd trade back and I'd snag Ty Simpson.
It takes a lot for you to say that. It takes a lot for you to say that.
You know, and look, at the end of the day, I don't think he's overrated. I honestly think he's underrated.
Ty?
I just go back and read the chats now. Here it is. There's Mendoza.
But Mendoza beat him in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
We got to get Cliff, Jacob.
But I just think that one guy that I do love, because I do think he's in like there's a couple guys that I'd love to snag.
Emmanuel's on board with you. He said he's the one. Ty Simpson.
I think he fits Clint Cooper. Like everybody is saying that Ty Simpson is more than likely going to go to the Rams.
That would suck.
And a lot of what Clint Kubiak likes to do is what Shanahan and McVay do. Their systems are very, very similar. And so if we went, I see Rick y'all, he was not total ass the last 6 games of the season. Now, mind you, again, the last 4 games of the season, it's now come out that he basically had some gastritis and he lost damn near 25 pounds in a matter of a month and a half or a month or something like that. So he was going through a lot of issues, but we're going to break down his game film on my channel. But I do think that he fits the Kubiak, Shanahan, McVay system extremely well. And he is without question the most pro-ready quarterback coming out of this draft. But I really like Akeem Messidor. I like him a lot. I actually like him over Bain. I want to say it was week 2 of the season. Leo came out to watch one of the games. I think it was the KC game, I think. And we were talking about it. And I told him I had questions about Bain. But I like Akeem Messidor. I'd love it if that guy came over. Going edge rusher. I like Cassius Howell in the 2nd round. I'd love to see us take a swing on that guy. Slot corner wise, God, what's his name? From Indiana, D'Angelo Pons. I really like that kid. If he's there in the 2nd round, and we need a slot corner, would not mind taking a swing on that guy. A guy that I've liked for a while, and that's really only if he does slide to the 2nd round based on his combine and what people are talking about now. It may not happen, but Monroe Freeling, the offensive tackle from Georgia, I really like him, along with the Arizona State kid. Again, that's kind of more the back half. My favorite offensive lineman in this draft class is Mongoa from Miami. He is my favorite offensive tackle in this draft class. So those are a couple that I do like, that I do think day one they're starters, and then they could help this rebuild kick off. So,
no, big luck. He got here about an hour ago.
Yeah.
And I could go on for probably the next hour as to why I don't think Fernando Mendoza, 80% of what he does and what you saw him do well translates.
Oh, please go on.
I can tell
go for
why Simpson translates to the NFL extremely well. And so, yeah, that's
up Raider Night.
The show. We can get into that after free agency, maybe.
Might
drive me into it. Who knows? But not to say I'm right. But again, this is why I love the YouTube stuff. Right? People hated me when I said Bo Nix was going to be a good quarterback in the National Football League. And if it wasn't for that injury, there's a damn good chance he's in the Super Bowl this year, based on what game looked like. If Bo Nix was playing that game, there's a good chance the Broncos are in the playoffs. Right?
Yeah, no, I believe that.
People wanted to shut my YouTube page down when I liked Bo Nix and Michael Penix. People wanted to shut my channel down when I said Shedeur Sanders was a 3rd round. I had a 3rd round grade on Shedeur Sanders. People hated me for that one. He gets picked in the 5th. Now, I think other outside elements put him to the 5th, but there was no way I was getting him at 6. There was no way I was getting him. So I had a 3rd round grade on him, and people wanted to shut my page down because I had that take. So that's just – and for anybody that says Bo Nix, and Anthony, I see, if anybody says Bo Nix is garbage, then you either just hate anybody that's a Bronco or you just hated Bo Nix anyways. Because Bo Nix statistically, and really in any statistic that you want to look at, he could have easily either he is or could have been a top 10 quarterback. The only thing you have to realize is that the reason why some of the statistics aren't top 10 is because his receiver room was one of the worst in the National Football League. They had the 2nd most drops in the National Football League. His receiver room, not only was it injured, but it was trash. He was thrown to Cortland Sutton that had some of the most drops in the National Football League last year. Then he had Troy Franklin, which had a ton of drops, and he was very one-dimensional. And then it was, I think, Jaden Higgins that they got in the draft that he ended up just being hurt. If you look at the last playoff game that they had, both Jaden Higgins didn't play as well as Troy Franklin got hurt halfway through the game because he had a concussion. And they thought that they picked up a tight end in free agency, which he was basically hurt. I think it was Evan Ingram. He was hurt half the goddamn season. So Bo Nix had nobody to throw to, and they still were able to kind of pull out games. Now, did the defense help them at times? Of course. Like, you need it's an entire team effort when it comes to kind of getting that far into the playoffs or having the record that they did. But there's no way you can say that Bo Nix is not a good quarterback, because statistically he's literally he's top 10 in basically all the statistics you want your quarterback to be in, with the 2nd most drops in the National Football League. So if you say he's trash, you either just hate Bo Nix originally, or you just hate the or you just hate the Broncos. It's either one. So,
oh boy, there's a lot of them saying it too. Yeah. They're all pretty much saying it. Real quick, shout out to my guy, the Predator, the original, the Predator, with the $2 super chat. My black hole brother, I appreciate you, man. Shouting out to Nate, myself, and 805. Thank you, my brother.
Rick Higgins, Pat Bryant. Pat Bryant was the Broncos.
There you go.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Let's see who else is here. Raider Outlaws here. What's up, man? Who are you basing your evaluation of Mendoza's skills will not transfer in the NFL?
Are we getting into this?
Hey, you're asking. I mean, you want to spread the what they're gonna call filth. You can do it on my channel, our show. I don't give a shit. Oh, what's up, Tanner Jack?
I'm gonna start with what Fernando Mendoza is good. Like, there's a lot to like about Fernando Mendoza. Don't get me wrong. There's a reason why they had success. And he was part of that success. All right. He is very accurate. Now, 80% of those throws that he's very accurate with, guess what? That's about 10% of what he's going to do in the NFL. Mm-hmm. The RPOs, the back shoulder fades, the deep balls, that type of stuff, that's about 10% of what he's going to do in the NFL. Just look at the statistics of how often RPOs are run in the NFL. And so you could take about 70% of the RPOs, back shoulder fades, all that stuff. Guess what? That's 10%. So, yes, it looks good. It's accurate, but he's not moved off of his spot. It's very catch and throw. Yep. It doesn't translate well. Okay. It's good to see it, and it's impressive. You go back and look at the Oregon game in, I believe, the college football playoffs, right? He looked perfect in that game. Well, basically 90% of those throws that were perfect, he's not going to be asked to do it in the NFL. And so you can almost, yes, very good arm. All right. I've heard some people say that his arm is okay. I think he's got a very strong arm. There are throws, especially I believe it was in the first Oregon game. He threw from the right hash, basically a comeback route to the opposite sideline on a rope. He's got an extremely strong arm. But again, 80% of what he does not translate to the NFL. Now, at the same time, that offense did not run through Fernando Mendoza. Ty Simpson threw the ball 100 times more than Fernando Mendoza. At the same time, whenever Indiana was in a 3rd and 4, a 3rd and 3, what do? They ran the ball. They did not throw the football. 90% of the time they ran the ball because they won games through the run game. it was either a handoff to Kalen Black or I forget who the other running back was, but it was handoff, or guess what? He took off and run just like he did in the national championship. And so if you go and you take a look at the NFL style throws that he's going to have to make when he's moved off of his spot a little bit, when he has to navigate the pocket a little bit, now he becomes very 50-50. There's a lot of inaccurate throws. There's a lot of times where he drops his eyes way too early. And when he looks like he's going through a progression, I think he's actually looking to take off and run. And so there's not very many examples of him actually going through a progression like he's going to have to. You could have the best offensive line in the National Football League. You're still going to have to go through your progression. You're still going to be moved off your spot. You're still going to have to navigate the pocket, and he just doesn't do it that well. And that's all basing it off of the fact that we're picking him number 1. It's not like we're picking him 20. It's not like we're picking him in the second round. I'm evaluating this. I'm picking him at the number 1 overall, which tells me I got to see Hall of Fame potential. And I just don't see it, especially given the fact you can go look at what I think was his first 5 games. Indiana averaged damn near 170 yards on the ground the first 5 games. Every single game that they played outside of, I want to say, the Michigan State game. The Michigan State game, and I'll say it, and I said it when I first kind of made my overall analysis of him. The Michigan State game was his best game that I saw based on what he'll have to do in the NFL. But what sucks was everything else that you see, he wasn't asked to do much. It wasn't on his shoulders. He didn't go into a game saying, man, I got to throw this ball 30 plus times. He played, I think, 14 games, 15 games. He threw the ball more than 30 times, 3 times. That was it. One of those games was 31 times. So he went into every single game knowing I could ride this running game till the cows come home. And every once in a while, it might be on him. And so how battle tested he is, I don't know. Now, again, I'm not saying he can't do it. But based on what I see on the 20% of the throws that truly look like NFL-style throws, he's 50-50. And that's the problem that I have when taking him number 1 overall. I mean, you just go look at the national championship. The first half of that national championship looked good because there was a lot of tempo throws, back shoulder fades, RPOs, go balls, and Miami's number 1 corner was out the first half of that game because of what he did the previous game. And so those corners played like 8 to 10 yards off and just gave it to him all day long. But what happened in the second half? Go back and look at the second half. He didn't complete a pass until the fourth quarter. And any pass attempt in that national championship game when he was moved off of his spot, completely inaccurate. Go look at the throw right before the run that he had. It was a great run. Go look at the run that he had right before that in that national championship. He tried to throw an inside slant, completely off. It was high and behind him. Like, again, when he tries to work the middle of the field like you're going to have to in the National Football League, it's just not great. It's good, but it's not great. Not number 1.
Real quick, Anthony, he's not calling Mendoza a Hall of Famer. What he's saying is by us picking him at number 1, he has to evaluate him as if he's going to be a Hall of Famer type. Because when you're taking him as the number 1 overall, which is the highest value in a draft, that player has to be of that caliber is what he's getting at. Like, he would evaluate him different or would look at him in a different manner if he was going to be like, from pick 20 on up. But when you're being picked number 1 overall, you're basically saying he's the best option in this draft, hands down. And that's different style. That he's not calling him an actual Hall of Famer. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think he's going to be like garbage. I just don't think he's worth a number 1 overall at all. Now I went back and I watched about 4 of his tapes at Cal. And I'll be dead honest with you. I do think that he looked better at Cal, given the fact that he was asked to do more. You see more throws that he's going to have to.
What's up, DH?
Basically, he's going to be asked to do in the NFL. But again, very hit or miss. Had some good hit games, had some bad games. It was tough. Very, very 50-50. But you go back and look at that Cal, the 4 games I was able to watch of his Cal tape. I honestly, and I said this after watching his Cal film, I think him going to Indiana hurt his development of being an NFL-style quarterback. If he would have stayed at Cal, I think that would have helped with his development because he would have been asked to do more. A lot would have been more on his shoulders. He would have had to make more variety of throws because a lot
would still would have had blonde hair too.
Yeah, don't get me started with the blonde hair. But at Indiana, it was so just like catch and throw, RPO, back shoulder fade. Like there was the difficulty level of that Indiana offense was extremely low for a quarterback. There was not a lot of difficulty, given the fact that, he can go and pass the ball 14 times, but they run the ball 37 times and go win the game by 20 points. He just was not asked to do a lot. It was a very quarterback-friendly offense. It was a very quarterback-safe offense, and that tells me that I have way too many question marks as to whether or not he's going to be a good quarterback in the National Football League. So, and look, you can point to some things. Yes, the Penn State game where he went down and made the throw. You can point to some things, but again, you can point to this play or that play, but I could also point to probably 5 more plays on top of that where I got question marks. Because 80% of what he did over at Indiana just does not translate well to the NFL because he's not going to be asked to do it. Maybe 10% of the time.
We're going to go down in history as getting everybody to stop hating 805 after this tonight.
Like I told you, with the Bo Nix and the Shedeur Sanders talk, like people wanted to shut my channel.
Yeah, but that's different though. This is a guy we're going to end up picking, and people are going to be, like I said, it's a risk taking him at number 1. I get it. I think the pressure wouldn't be as bad because right now he's being picked number 1, so he's definitely going to be our pick. Okay, so his expectation or his expectation level is going to be up here. Whereas if we picked him way later in the first round, it would kind of fall down to about here somewhere. Like you're not. There's not as much pressure on him. Basically, when you're the first overall pick, especially at QB, the pressure is on you as that player to be that guy, like to be as good as what you're being picked for. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when you get picked later in the draft, the pressure's not as high on you because if you work out, great, that's beautiful. If you don't work out, all right, didn't work out. On to the next one. Let's give this. And that's why when people say, well, let's just give it a shot. You're going to bank your number 1 pick on a let's give it a shot guy. I don't know. But whatever.
It's tough. And that's where would I take Fernando Mendoza or would I take possibly if the Jets are willing to give us 3 first rounders? The number 2, number 16, maybe a first rounder next year, 100%.
1,000%. Yes.
So, look, there are examples. Raquel, I'm not saying there's not examples. There are examples of Fernando hitting a seam route or possibly work in the middle of the field. There are examples. There's just plenty more that I can show that are off. Or when he's moved off his spot, he's looking to run before actually throw. And so this is where, again, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, I want to see the pressure on him to make that throw, or he's the one making the throw, and they run the ball. It was just very quarterback friendly. And Rick, you said fast forward to the 3-minute. Yeah, okay. So if you're going to give me 3 minutes, I can 30 minutes of throws that just don't equate to NFL caliber. So again, I'm not saying that there's not moments that look good, because there are, but there's also plenty that I could point to that tells me he's not worth the number 1 overall.
I think it's tough too, because in this draft there's no besides Mendoza, just because we're such a quarterback needy organization, there's no number one bona fide number one prospect in this draft. Like you can't argue like, hey, okay, Arvell Reese or Bain or Styles or whoever can be the number one pick for any other team, because realistically, there's not a bona fide number one prospect in this draft. So I think that's why it gives us such a, and I seen it in the chat earlier, a damned if we do, damned if we don't kind of mentality as far as fans wise watching all of this breakdown. Because if we don't get the quarterback, then we're stuck with the same, bullshit quarterback that we've had, situation for the past couple seasons since Derek Carr left. And if we get him and he starts to be, not great, then, here comes the Jamarcus Russell comparisons to, we can never pick a first round quarterback ever again, because it's, we're just cursed.
I mean,
Edgar Sosa's right though too. It's just that we get the number one pick in the wrong draft. Unfortunately, he's right.
Man, after I got done kind of watching Fernando Mendoza, like all the games, I watched every single game, every throw of this season. Actually, I think outside of one, I think it was like I think they played like Kennesaw State or Kansas State, something like that. They beat them like 70-0, something weird. I watched every throw of every game outside that one. I watched 4, I believe, Cal film, and I'm looking at next year's quarterback draft class. I'm sitting there going, God, of course we get the number one in this draft class where there is no real competition. And let's just throw this out there. Going into, I want to say around week 8, week 9, going into around, I was like week 8, Ty Simpson was in the conversation to be the best quarterback in college football.
Yeah.
And now the reports are coming out that he basically kind of had that digestive system issue kind of going into the college football playoffs. And so to say that Ty Simpson is just nowhere to be found when it comes to competition as a number one, like a first-round quarterback, going into week 8, week 9 of the season, he was in that conversation of being the best quarterback in college football last year because the tape showed it. So, I just, that's where it's tough. People I think are just thinking of those last few games that he had, and they're like, oh my God, he's bad. Well, guess what? Reports have come out. He had that gastritis issue where he lost, 20 pounds or so in a matter of a few weeks. And so people were high on Ty Simpson for the majority of college football last year. Now,
all right, so
he doesn't have very many starts. He's only got, I believe, like 15 starts, which is rough. But this is why you take Ty Simpson, and I'm a firm believer. I've said it before. The whole Tom Brady thing came out. Like you sit your rookie quarterback for at least a full season. I'd love to see it a full season. Maybe you can get him in the last 2 games, depending on what your season looks like, just to kind of get his feet wet with actual game like situation. But I'd love to see your rookie quarterback, no matter if it's Mendoza at 1 or if it's Ty Simpson later in round 1. I think no matter what, you sit your quarterback, because the transition from college to the NFL for a quarterback is night and day. You are not going to see the defenses that you saw in college compared to what the NFL is. The NFL is night and day different and a million times more sophisticated than the college games. So I say sit a quarterback for a full season. And I see Chewy saying Simpson not it. I know people told me about Bo Nix.
So we're gonna kill this segment, and we're just gonna. I'm gonna.
You can go on for hours for sure.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. Go ahead,
Rorschach. I'm not saying Mendoza's Jamarcus Russell. I am not saying that at all.
No, I didn't get that from that either.
Yeah, I'm not saying that at all.
So basically,
marks of Mendoza at number 1.
So basically, we're gonna end it with this.
What we've got here is failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach.
And that's basically what 805 saying to everybody in the chat. So with that, we're going to drop that subject. We're going to go on, and we're going to play a little something right now. And I hope I don't get trademarked for this, because
you will.
I shouldn't, because he was nice enough to come on the show tonight, but I've reworded it. So we're gonna play trade him, sign him, and retire him instead of start, bench, and cut. We're doing trading him, signing him, or we're gonna force him to retire. So I'm gonna put the rules up. So let me get the chat off the screen here too, because they want anything blocked. All right. So basically, what this is you're going to see 3 NFL names. Now, they could be players, coaches, owners, whatever. All right. And let me switch it to this.
While you switch that, I will say one thing. I'm going to end it with this. I'm going to end that last topic with this, because I see people even saying Bo Nix isn't it. Chat, answer this one question. If we get Fernando Mendoza, and Fernando Mendoza year 1 takes us to the playoffs, and then possibly the 3rd round of playoffs by year 2, do you think that is an absolute win? Do you think that is? Because I know every single one of you would be in line to get on your knees for Fernando Mendoza. If he took us to the playoffs year 1 and the 3rd round of playoffs year 2, you would be on your knees for the guy. That's what Bo Nix did. Don't tell me Bo Nix is trash, because I guarantee you would think Fernando Mendoza is the next coming to God if he did that. And that's what Bo Nix did. No matter how you look at it, that's the situation. And so, again, saying Bo Nix is trash just means you basically hate him. And that's kind of where I know. I just know that's where you stand at this point. So, all right, my bad. Go for it.
And he's sticking to it. Okay. So you're going to see three NFL names pop up. You're going to choose one to trade, one to sign, and one to retire. All right. You can only use the option, obviously. You have to pick one of the 3 for those things. So, and chat plays along with this too. All right. So here's the first one. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow.
Wait, what is it again? It's trade. Okay,
trade him, sign him, and retire him.
So we're losing 2 people. Basically, who's your favorite?
Yep. So all 3 are on your team right now. You've got all 3. So you're trading one, you're signing one, and you're retiring the other.
So trading would mean I'm getting rid of them. Signing them, I'm keeping them. Retiring them means
you're pushing him right out of the league.
He's gone.
Yep.
So out of those 3, I think out of those 3, I'm gonna have to. I got to retire Josh Allen out of those 3.
Okay.
It's hard. I think I'm gonna sign. Shit.
It's not easy.
I have an answer too.
I think I gotta sign. Damn it! I hate saying it, but I think I'm gonna sign Patrick Mahomes. I'm trading Joe Burrow.
Yep, that's exactly what I'd do.
The only reason why I'd sign Patrick Mahomes is because you got to take into consideration that year that he had when they let Tyreek Hill go. And everybody said, "Oh shit, there goes the dynasty. There it goes." What does Patrick Mahomes do? Follows it up with winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, I think is great. He's obviously the best pure passer on this list. But Patrick Mahomes, you see just what he does. I'm like, damn it. So I think I'm signing Patrick Mahomes. I'm trading Joe Burrow, and I'm retiring Josh Allen, which means Josh Allen's gone. You push him out the league.
Yeah,
he's done. He can't come back no more. He put it in his papers. So Edgar says, sign Mahomes, trade Allen, and retire Joe. AO says, sign Mahomes, trade Burrow, retire Allen. Let's see, retire Kermit, trade Joe, and sign Josh. Okay. Yeah, this is based on what the players are right now. So, what are you laughing at?
And yes, Joe Burrow.
My
yeah.
girlfriend said, my girlfriend has an answer. She said, "Marry Josh, fuck Joe, kill Pat." I have you guys muted. What are you guys? You guys are playing
Jesus
FMK,
Christ.
right? Wrong game. I'm telling you, wrong game.
You know what? I should have done that one. I should have done an F, marry, kill. God damn it. Next week. All right. So here's the next one.
Next week.
Joe Montana, Dan Marino, and John Elway.
Oh God, I hope.
Mm.
I hope my
Think
family's
of them in their prime, like when they were at the top of their game. Sort of like how you do your start of Metro Cut 'em shit.
I hope my family's not watching because basically my entire family are 49er fans. My parents, my extended relatives, they when I started becoming a Raider fan at like 9 years old, I thought my dad was going to disown me for a second. I'm going to go. Again, I hope they're not watching because I think I'm cutting Joe Montana out of this one. Or retired. Sorry.
Retired. Mm-hmm.
So so you're retiring Montana?
Yeah. Just because, I mean, he had all the help around him. He if we just talk about like pure talent as a quarterback, God, Dan Marino was nasty.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame he never got to play in another Super Bowl.
Right? And I'm signing Dan Marino.
That's exactly what I do too. That's exactly what I do.
So you're saying what? Retire Montana, trade Elway, and sign Marino?
If I just talk top their game, if I could take one guy, let's do this. If I could take one guy to build around, I might build around. Like prime John Elway was nasty because he was dual threat. He could throw, he could run. Dan Marino would just pick you apart with anything around him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Bueno says sign Montana, trade Marino, retire Elway. That's the hate for the Broncos coming out there. I get that. Big Luck says sign Joe, trade Dan, retire Elway. See, I would have signed Marino. I would have too. Because I remember him coming in from his rookie year on, and he was just money, man, with the Mock brothers back there, Clayton and Duper. Oh my God. And the running game they had and everything, that team was just unbelievable. Let's see. Sign Joe, retire Elway, trade Dan. Sign Joe, retire Marino, trade Elway. Damn. Jay says sign Montana, trade Marino, and retire Elway. Sheesh. Let's see. Elway was the only QB I saw that could win his team wins. Oh, will his team to win. Even when Denver had crappy teams, he kept them competitive. So did Joe Montana, though, too, but his teams were never really crappy.
Yeah, his teams were Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Yep. Next one. Round 3.
Ooh.
Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, and Emmitt Smith.
Oh, damn.
I told you these weren't going to be easy. I'm making you think for them.
You're saying what?
To me?
Yeah.
I think this is very similar to the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm retiring Emmitt Smith.
Okay, me too.
What's up, SoCal?
I think I'm going to sign Barry. I might trade Walter Payton. That's hard.
I'm signing Peyton, trading Barry.
And I don't know if it's because I just I obviously I've seen Walter Payton just from videos back in the day.
Right.
But I grew up watching Barry Sanders and just how he made people look stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's a hard one, but I think I'm signing Barry Sanders, trading Walter Payton, retiring Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith, he was damn good. Don't get me wrong, but he just had the best offensive line for the majority.
Oh, without a doubt.
So,
could you imagine Barry Sanders playing with that line?
no one would touch his record if he did.
No, he would. I'm telling you, he would have had probably 20 grand in rushing yards easily.
Jeez.
Easily. Think about it. The one year Barry Sanders ran for the 2,000 yards, he had a game where he finished with -1 yard, and he still broke the 2,000 barrier.
Yeah.
There were games where he ran out of his own shoes and still would run for a touchdown. There was a game against the Patriots, actually. I think he lost his shoes in it, or one of them, and he still ran. I mean, the guy was, talk about an ankle breaker.
Yeah.
So let's see what the chat says on this. This was a good one. When I came up with this one, I was like, this is gonna be a fun one. So sign Barry, trade Peyton, retire Smith. I think most are saying retire Smith. So sign Barry. Well, it's not cut Walter. That means you retire Walter, trade Emmett. Sign Walter, trade Barry, retire Emmett. Sign Sanders, trade Smith, retire Peyton. Oof. Jason says, sign Barry, trade Walter, retire Emmett Smith. Everybody's pretty much on the same. Everybody wants to get rid of Emmett Smith. I love it.
It makes sense.
No, it's just, bueno, don't make your own rules.
He's making it too complicated now.
Yeah, right. What's up, man? What's going on? Welcome in. Just remind everybody, if you're new to the show tonight, make sure you hit those hit the thumbs up, hit the sub, get over to LV Raider 10's channel. It's scrolling along the bottom there. It's just what it is. It's at LV Raider 10. Make sure you hit that sub. And Jay, if you're still in the chat, if somebody can just put up 805's channel in the chat, please. I appreciate you. All right, next one. Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, and Terrell Owens.
This one's hard.
Retire Burrow always hurt.
So, I think I know who I'm signing.
Who are you signing?
I'm signing Jerry Rice.
Thanks, Bueno.
So because I do my starting bench from cut him, and I've put Terrell Owens up there, I think what's really difficult with Terrell Owens is, like, numbers wise, he could easily be a top 3 receiver in the NFL history. Numbers wise, I think what just he had all his drama in the back half that is just it overshadows a little bit just how good he really was with multiple teams. Yeah. I think I'm signing Jerry Rice. I think I'm
Thanks, Jay.
Trading Randy Moss, and I might retire Terrell Owens. Randy Moss, you could just throw it up, but like, damn, that's a hard one. I think I'm retiring Terrell Owens, trading Randy Moss. I'm signing Jerry Rice.
Yeah, I'm signing Moss, trading Rice, and retiring Owens.
All right. So Javeda says sign Jerry, retire Moss, trade Terrell. Cool Kev says retire Moss, sign Jerry, trade Owens. Okay. Trade Moss, sign Rice, retire T.O. Jason says trade Randy because we did. Sign Jerry because we did. Retire Owen because he deserves it. A little extra. I love it. Edgar says signing Rice, trading Moss, and retiring Owens. Sign Rice, trade T.O., retire Moss. Jay says sign Jerry, trading Moss, retire T.O. AO, sign Moss, trade Rice, retire Owens. Okay, so it's kind of even there. All right, next one. Reggie White, Bruce Smith, or Lawrence Taylor. Trade him, sign him, retire him. What you doing?
This one's similar to the last one. I think no matter what, I think I'm signing Lawrence Taylor.
1,000%.
Oh
man.
I think I'm trading Reggie White and I'm retiring Bruce Smith. I think what's difficult about this one, like, I didn't watch a lot of Bruce Smith. Like I know I know he's damn good, one of the best to do it. I watched more of Reggie White kind of growing up. So that might obviously sway just kind of where I go with this, but I think no matter what, signing Lawrence Taylor, I think I'm trading Reggie White and I'm retiring Bruce Smith.
Yeah, that's where you are too, Nate, or
Yeah, I agree. You said sign LT, trade Reggie White, and retire Smith, right? Yeah, I agree with that.
So Tanner's got sign Taylor, which pretty much everybody's saying sign Taylor. Retire White, trade Smith. Let's see, Big Luck says sign Taylor, trade Smith, retire White. Regardless, he was most. Oh, he does. He definitely was a beast. Jarrett sign Taylor, retire Bruce, trade Reggie. Jason Down says trade Reggie, sign Lawrence, retire Bruce. That's easy. Reggie White trade, sign Taylor, retire Smith. Yeah, everybody's saying sign Taylor. You'd be crazy not to sign Lawrence Taylor. I mean, the guy changed the game basically on defense and the way offense is played. Sign Jeff, trade 805, retire Nate. See, all ice is signing Taylor, trading White, retiring Smith. A lot of people saying retiring Smith, so it's pretty much all right on the money. Sal, LT on Coke is wild. You should do a Who Am I game. You did on your show. Next one, Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, or Micah Parsons.
Oh, damn.
This is all like top of their game, right?
Yeah. I think this one's not that bad. I think this one's kind of.
I got this one.
Let's see.
Myles Garrett, trade Nick Bosa. I'm retiring Micah Parsons.
I think I'm gonna have to agree with that. I agree with. I love Nick Bosa. I really do. I think between him and Micah Parsons, I'm gonna have to give the edge to Nick Bosa just a little bit. I know it doesn't. We get neither in this scenario, but
like there was, I forget what season it was. Maybe it was 2 years ago. Like Nick Bosa was damn near unstoppable off of the edge. Myles Garrett. But like Micah Parsons, like he's damn good, but like he'll kind of be up and down at times, especially in the run game, like run support. And so I think Nick Bosa, when healthy, top of his game, he's as complete of a defensive end as you can get outside of Myles Garrett. But so
you guys are pretty much right in that order. Then you're going Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, then Parsons.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty much what the chat's saying too. Sign Garrett, trade Bosa, retire Parsons. Garrett, Bosa, Parsons. Oh, well, Anthony's got a different. Sign Garrett, trade Parsons, retire Bosa.
Okay.
Trade Parsons, retire Bosa, sign Myles. Sign Myles, retire Bosa, trade Micah. Jason switching up. Sign 805, trade Nate, and retire Jeff. I'm already technically retired, so that doesn't count. Cool Kev says, sign Myles, retire Bosa, trade Parsons. Disappeared too often as well. Yeah, true. Sign Garrett, trade Bosa, retire Parsons, Garrett, Parsons. But yeah, it's all pretty much the same. I didn't think this one was that hard. This was kind of a easier one, I think, to decipher. Next. Bill Belichick, Bill Walsh, and Don Shula.
Ooh.
So you're signing one as the head coach, you're trading one to another team to be their head coach, and you're retiring the third one.
This might be a little rough. Hopefully my family is now back watching. Maybe they are. What I like about Bill Walsh is he won so much, but also he won with two different quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, he didn't. No,
Steve Seifert. Seifert
right.
won with Young.
Bill Walsh did not win with Steve Young, right?
No.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Damn. Okay. Then maybe my family can check out. I don't know. Honestly, like, again, Don Shula was somewhat like kind of before my day to really appreciate fully what he did. So I think that's what makes it tough. So I might be going sign Belichick, trade Walsh, retire Shula. Again, I just don't know if I have enough appreciation for truly what Don Shula did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going
He
sign
did have the
Walsh,
perfect
trade
season.
Bill, and retire Shula.
He did have the perfect season. The only team to do it, straight through to the Super Bowl win.
True.
But Belichick was there, but they had that giant loss in the Super Bowl.
You know what? I'm correcting it. I'm gonna start, or sorry, not start. I'm gonna sign Bill Walsh. I'm trading Belichick. I just can't overlook the possible cheating. That's the one thing that I can't. So maybe I'm switching it up. I'm signing Bill Walsh. I'm trading Bill Belichick, and I'm retiring Don Shula.
What are you doing, Nate?
Same. I'm doing the exact same.
Yeah, I'm signing Walsh.
I think we know who you're retiring.
Yeah, I'm signing Bill Walsh, trading Don Shula, and I'm retiring Bill Belichick. Bill Walsh, I mean, my thing with Bill Walsh is what he did to change that organization, taking a chance on a guy like Montana, not giving up on Jerry Rice, and doing what he did to, you know, I mean, that's pretty much where your whole West Coast offense, all that shit started, you know, with the way that they developed that part of the game. You know, just think of some of the, I mean, how many guys on his team are in the Hall of Fame is insane. How many from Belichick's era have made the Hall of Fame yet? And they won their first Super Bowl 20-something years ago, and most of those guys are retired. How many made it to the Hall of Fame already? Then you look at all the guys from the 49ers. Almost that entire era, a good chunk of those guys are in already. You know? So let's see the chat. Chat has trade Belichick, sign Walsh, retire Shula. Sign Bill, trade Shula, retire Walsh. A lot of people signing Bill. Damn. Sign Belichick, trade Shula, retire Walsh. Retire Bill, sign Don, trade Walsh. Okay. The head coach we traded, are we playing in the Super Bowl? And God damn it, Bueno. Shut your fridge off. I had to do it on this list. I hate the Patriots, right? Sign Walsh, trade Bill, retire Shula. Sign Shula, trade Walsh, retire Bill. Sign Shula, trade Bill, retire Belichick. Yes. So you're going to bring girl. Yeah. Take his girl with him. Let's see. Anybody else? Here it is. Shula won with different players and styles. The others did not, which is true. He did it. Yeah. As much Patriots cheating, Al Davis did say cheating is encouraged. Yes.
He did.
We just were able to get away with it.
Nobody else, though. Nobody else is allowed.
Yeah, exactly. But that's Raider rules.
Yep.
John Madden, Tom Flores, and John Gruden.
Oh, yeah.
I know this one's going to be really tough for some people because, again, these are all Raider coaches on this one.
I could go sign Madden, trade Flores, and I'm retiring Gruden.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the consensus on Gruden, first of all. I think the other two are going to be kind of a toss-up.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's where I'm going with it.
Nate?
I'm going to do the exact same.
Yeah, Jason said sign Madden, trade Flores, retire Gruden. Sign Madden, trade Flores, retire Gruden.
We can never come back. That's what we need to do.
Yeah. That's a permanent retirement. We because of he has signed Madden, trade Flores, retire Gruden because of his horrible draft picks.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much everybody's saying the same thing. So I kind of figured Gruden was going to get on the retire side. Al Davis, Jerry Jones, and Robert Kraft ownership now.
Well, obviously, sign Al.
Yeah.
I sign Al. I'm trading Robert Kraft. I'm retiring Jerry Jones.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
Jerry Jones. Yeah, it's just
This was kind of a freebie, yeah, to be honest with you. I think everybody's going to agree with that one.
Jones just as much as you retire John Gruden. That's what you could do.
Yep. All right, here we go. This is the last one. So Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Montana.
I'm going in this order.
Yeah, I think I'm still cutting. I'm signing Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Signing Tom Brady.
Real quick, look at all eyes on that last one with the owners. Sign Al, the others can fight till the death.
Man, for me, it really is a toss-up between Mahomes and Joe Montana. I almost think in this case,
now keep in mind they all played in different eras.
Yeah.
But just picture them all playing at the height of their career, basically.
oh shit. I'm signing Tom Brady. I might just trade Joe and retire Patrick Mahomes.
Ooh.
I might actually take Joe on this one and retire Patrick Mahomes.
Nate?
But just pure quarterback. Damn. I mean, but that's a toss-up. I'll be honest. Between those two, I'm definitely signing Tom Brady.
Yeah, I'm signing Tom Brady, trading Mahomes, and retiring Joe Montana.
I'm signing Montana, trading Brady, and retiring Mahomes.
Yeah.
Montana was just too cool out there on the field. I mean, the whole John Candy story alone just puts him in another level.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, who does that? You're not even winning the game at that moment. You have that much swagger and confidence. Come on, man. I couldn't see Tom Brady doing that. Absolutely not.
I think, honestly, when it comes to like Patrick Mahomes, he's just, if he gets a couple more Super Bowls under his belt, then he is right there in that conversation.
Yeah. But we can't say that that's blasphemy.
When Patrick Mahomes had weapons around him, you could be down by 21 with 4 minutes left, and you still think that the Chiefs are probably going to come back.
Yeah.
That's just how good Patrick Mahomes is. Like, that's where it's tough. So I think just the Super Bowls definitely separate the two.
Here's the chat. Sign Brady, retire Montana, trade Holmes. Sign Brady, trade Mahomes, retire Montana. Sign Brady, trade Montana, retire Mahomes. Brady, sign, trade Montana, retire Mahomes. I already retired Montana earlier. Do I have to? No, because you don't want to retire him this time. Let's see. Cool Kev's a few behind. Retire Kraft, sign Al, trade Jerry. Jason says, sign Brady, trade Mahomes, retire Montana. Cool Kev, retire them all.
So you get cheaters in that too. I get it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Trade Pat, sign Joe, retire Tom. Ooh, I like that one. I don't know why. Let's see. Sign Tom, trade Montana. Tanner Jacko, I'm agreeing with 805 too much.
It'll get you hated. Darren Jack will get you hated.
Prime Joe. Yeah, Prime Joe was amazing, man, to watch. And I mean, I saw enough of them because they were always in the goddamn playoffs back then. I mean, those teams were amazing. It just, yeah. All right. Well, they're pretty much. So here's the thing. Did you even catch that tonight?
What?
You didn't, did you? Yeah.
No.
You didn't catch that at all, did you? When I did the little opening monologue at the start, I started off with "Here's the thing." I was throwing it in there throughout the night. Every now and then, I dropped the "Here's the thing."
Trying not to say because I think I was watching your show yesterday, Leo.
Yeah.
Let's see how many times. I was like, I'll do my best not to say it. That's what I'm going to do.
So I'm going to use that. I'm going to say it as much as I can throughout the show. Keep throwing it in there and see if Steve can catch it. And he didn't. 2.5 hours later, he still didn't catch it.
I got it's because I got so distracted getting yelled at by the chat. That's what
happened. So I definitely want to thank you for coming on with us tonight. This has been a blast, actually. Even though you got a little bruised and beat up in the chat over the home Mendoza thing, but you know what? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. You have yours. I have mine.
Yep.
Chat. Everybody in the chat has their own opinion. You know, don't let that sway as far as watching. Still continue to watch him and the stuff that he puts out, because it's one of my favorite shows to watch when the three of you guys are on there, or even if it is just you and Chris or Severe or whatever. But what do you got going on that you wanna mention? You got anything coming up that you want to promote?
And I just, I can periodically be able to jump on and do some solo lives here and there, again, depending on just kind of my time, got my family, day job, all that fun stuff. So I mostly just kind of stick to the lives on Wednesdays and Sundays. We're going to continue to break down game film because that's the one thing that I love doing. It's not about just telling you what I think. It's showing it, but at the same time, it's not just showing one or two plays. It's showing the body of work, and that's really what really matters. Is it's not just 2 or 3 plays. It's the body of work, and it allows people to be able to kind of get their own perspective. Because I might say something, or I might show a play that I might look at it one way, someone might look at it another way, and the chat can let me know. And the good thing is that I think sometimes I spend way too much time maybe on one play or talking about one subject, because even though someone has a comment or something to kind of like rebuke what I said, then I can at least explain it coming back, right? But there's also times where, look, I might not see it correctly, and I'll admit it when I do. But that's why I love breaking down game film. You guys kind of get a glimpse of kind of how I did it when I played and I coached. And it's funny. One of the things when my wife first met me, I was playing and coaching at the time. And I remember her, she walked into the room. I was watching game film. And about 4 hours later, she walks back in. She goes, "Weren't you just watching the same game like 4 hours ago?" And I'm like, "Yeah. I watch every play at least. I watch every play at least 14 times. I got to watch every player. I got to watch everything that's going on, and then I go back and I rewatch it just in case I missed something, And so that's when she kind of knew and understood just what she's getting herself into. So that's why in 2019 I was like, I need to give you your time now. It just kind of gives you a glimpse of what I used to do, what I love doing, still love doing it. And when we break down game film, I'll show you 60 plays of a player, because again, it's about the body of work. It's not just about 2 or 3 plays. And so I try to at least show you everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and then allows everybody to kind of get their own perspective. So we'll be doing it about Mendoza. We'll be doing it about Ty Simpson and some other prospects in the draft as we get closer. We were going to do a little bit on Sunday too. I think we're going to take a look at Linderbaum, McGovern, but we're also going to take a look at Devin Lloyd as well, because he's kind of the hot topic. So, So we'll have a little bit of fun on Sunday.
I will definitely give you kudos. You know why? Because since I've been watching your shows with the film breakdown and everything, when I watch the actual games on Sundays, now again, I'm with my chapter watching it. I'm not at home where I can be comfortable and pay attention to it. But when I'm at the bar and we're on offense, I find myself not watching the play itself develop. I'm watching, for me specifically, I'm watching the offensive linemen. As much as they can stay on camera when they're on screen, I watch and see what they do, because I want to see how that translates from what I see and what I think to what you bring up when you start talking about these guys. Like when you're doing your film breakdown on, because we had such a great game in the running and, in the running game, I want to see what you have to say about them, or if it's so bad because something, happened with sacks or whatever, and you break it down. It kind of makes sense to me now after watching it live and then taking what you put out there. So it's actually broadened my horizons, and I've learned a lot just from watching your shows, on what to look for that I never really paid attention to before. I really didn't, so it's made me better, I think, at what I do and the way I can relay information to. So it's definitely helped me. I don't know.
That. At the same time, I think earlier in the live, you asked me a question about just kind of what some of the things that I do when I'm watching game film that might be different than others and stuff. Is the one thing is it is very difficult when you're trying to focus on, let's say, the offensive line. It's very difficult to stay focused on a certain part of the game film unless you've done it for many years. It's hard. You have to be so disciplined with your eyes when watching game film, because your eyes naturally just want to go to the ball. Just what's happening over here, like there's a big hit or there's a good run. Your eyes just detach from what you're focused on. And again, luckily enough, I've just been able to do it for so many years that when I'm glued on a player or position, I'm glued onto it, and it just helps me kind of just see the nuances. One thing that really got me understanding how important it is to watch focused. There's been like 3 separate moments back in my history of coaching where I actually was accused of cheating because offenses thought I stole their playbook. But I was able to kind of see tendencies.
So you were a Patriots fan at one point.
What?
You were a Patriots fan at one point.
Yeah,
right. Learned from the best.
I actually had to go to the board of the conference to actually show them the tendencies and why I could pinpoint exactly what they were going to do. And again, that's just from hours and hours, but years and years of just watching game film and understanding what am I looking for, what the tendencies are, and based on the history of watching game film, kind of what tendencies tend to happen in certain formations, stuff like that. And so, it's something that, I've been able to point out over just the last season and a half of us breaking down game film. And it's not easy. It takes a lot of time, but I enjoy it. I love
it. Just real quick, Anthony asked what your thoughts are on Tremaine Edmonds.
Without actually really diving into his game film, because I haven't much. I've just kind of watched him periodically. I think what's gonna be interesting is I want to see us go after Devin Lloyd, and if you miss on Devin Lloyd, I think you could maybe take a cheaper option with Tremaine Edmonds. I think he fits. I think he potentially can fit the 4-3 scheme very well. My question mark is what Tremaine Edmonds are we going to get? So I think he kind of had an off year. If I remember correctly, I didn't follow him exactly, but I think he had a little bit of an off year this year. And what are we going to get out of him? I hope we do take a little bit of a chance at Devin Lloyd and really help this change of defense. Now, the one concern I said this last night, one concern I have with Devin Lloyd is the Jags, I think, ran a base 4-3. So, when you go from a 4-3 to a 3-4, your rules are different as a linebacker. Your reads are different. And how easily is he going to be able to translate to a 4-3 scheme. I don't know if he has much history at the NFL level with a 3-4. So that's one question mark I have with Devin Lloyd is can he transition to a 3-4? Because again, reads are different, terminology is different, your reactions are different. So because the flow of the game looks different with a 3-4 versus 4-3. So yeah, but I still think Devin Lloyd could be a damn good pickup. But if we miss on him, I think Tremaine Edmonds would be a good upside at the linebacker position.
Nate, you got anything you want to add in?
No, I'm all good here.
All your questions get answered?
Yes, they did.
Again, want to thank 805 for being here with us tonight. This has actually been a lot of fun, actually. I hope everybody enjoyed that little game that I put together. I wanted to do something similar to what you guys do on your show, so you get to be on this side of it and just kind of enjoy it, you know. So I didn't want to do, you know, the whole setup like you do, you know. So I'm like, I got to think of something different, and then I came up with that. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. So, so I appreciate that. So that was fun. I liked it. Just a reminder for me, tomorrow night, the No Huddle, again, it's open to all fans of all 32 NFL teams. Phone numbers right there. You can call ahead of time, leave a voicemail. We'll play the voicemail. Go on at 9 o'clock on Saturday night, Eastern time, 6 o'clock Pacific. And then Saturday night, you'll catch myself and Jason Downs on Raider Nation Voices. Same phone number. Call, leave a voicemail. We'll listen to voicemails, and then we take the live phone calls in during the show. We start at 10 o'clock on Saturday night, 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. So if nobody's got anything else, I think we're wrapping it up. You got any one last thing you want to say, 805, before you bail out of here?
No, I mean, honestly, appreciate you guys letting me come on. It's good to kind of talk with all the content creators here and there. And I know, Jeff, I pop on every once in a while if I have some time. But I definitely appreciate you letting me on here. And at the same time, we're going to be at the draft. So I'll be there if anybody's going to be there. Also, I'll be in Bakersfield. So May 16th, the Raider Nation Summer Kickoff. I'll be there. So if anybody's in Bakersfield, myself and Severe, we're going to be out there. Definitely hit me up. We're going to have a little bit of fun. A little after party is going to be good. I'll be enjoying my 2 pictures from Jack Kenna. That's always going to be but
make sure it doesn't get no cheap shit either for you. It doesn't get no like fucking Natty Light or something stupid.
Oh no.
Make sure you get you the good stuff.
I think we're going to go back to the same spot we went to last year, and they had 805 on tap. So that's going to be the winner.
Oh, there you go. 805 for 805.
But yeah, no, I appreciate it. The one thing I will end it with is I hope that no matter what happens, you know, even if it's Mendoza or not or whatever it may be, I encourage everybody this next year, this next season, just sit back and enjoy Raider football. It's been a while since we've been able to do it. Be patient and that's what I'm going to do. Like, obviously I am critical. Clint Kubiak was my number one. I wanted him to be the coach, but at the same time, even if we win 0 games, if we win 1, if we only win 2, sit back, be able to breathe and just enjoy Raider football. I promise you next season, I'm going to just barbecue, have a good time, sit back and enjoy the game, you know, because typically you got to give a head coach at least 3 years to really figure out exactly the pathway of a team. And it's going to take them at least a couple of years to get some pieces to the puzzle in the building. You can't, I know a lot of people have kind of compared it to like the Patriots, right? The Patriots were a step ahead this year. They already had Drake May, you know, Caleb Williams. They already had Caleb Williams. They're a step ahead. We aren't a step ahead. We're a step behind because we don't have a quarterback. So, you know, it's going to take 2 to 3 years just to understand the direction and get some pieces to the puzzle in this building. And so it's been a while. I'm going to take this year, this next upcoming season, and I'm just going to enjoy some Raider football. I'm not going to get frustrated at the outcome. I just hope that we're somewhat competitive towards the tail end of the season, and we can end on a positive note at some point. But even if we win 3 games, guess what? The best part, we got a top draft pick next year to keep building this.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I agree with you 100%. And that's what I've been saying, Nate. You've been on shows with me when I say it. We just the fan base just has to have patience. And if we only win 2 or 3 games this season, at the end of the year, when we get close to the end of the season, don't be screaming, fire the coach, fire the coach. Then we're just going to be stuck in that same stupid ass rut that we're in every year prior to this. So have patience. It'll come. Trust me. I've waited 40 something years. If I got to wait a couple more years, I'm fine with it. Okay. I'm not expecting anything fantastic this season. Like you, I want to enjoy this year. I don't want to be getting pissed off because we didn't win many games this year. My expectation is down here somewhere. Okay. So I don't know where you sit with it, Nate. What's your feeling on that real quick before we get out of here?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it's time for patience. And like you guys said, and just enjoying what we have now and watching this team grow from where it is right now, where we're one of our lowest points in franchise history, being, the first overall pick, and then watching where it can grow from here, I think is just going to be an amazing experience. And this is the time to really, lock in and watch football and just kind of enjoy it, like 805 was saying. So I think it's going to be a fun and interesting experience to see where this Raiders team and organization grows and goes. And I'm going to be here for every step of the way. So I know y'all will too.
And just to clarify, even if we draft Mendoza after me taking the bullets that I did earlier on, I'm going to even if we take him, I hope he does extremely well. And guess what?
Me too.
I will be extremely patient with him.
Same.
If he looks like absolute trash the first season, I'm not going to come on here and be like the "I told you so" person, right? It's like, look, any young quarterback is going to need time. So even if he comes on, it doesn't look great. Well, guess what? I wait till basically around 2.5 to 3 seasons to really get an indication on who you are as a quarterback. Because I will say, again, the second year is always the toughest for a quarterback because the first year you're learning. It's tough in general. But guess what? The next year, defensive coordinators have a full season of tape on you. They have a full offseason to be able to draft as well as bring in free agents to expose your weaknesses and minimize your strengths. Like that's the second year is always the toughest for young quarterbacks.
Yeah, they can see your tendencies. Now it's on film, like you said. So
yeah, and now you can actually build your defense around to basically attack those tendencies, right? So that's the patience has to be there. And again, based on everything I said about Mendoza, even if we draft him, I will be very patient with him if he ends up being the guy. So hopefully I brought some people back on my side.
All right, so before we get out of here real quick, Frank Weber did ask for this, so I'm going to give it one more time.
What we've got here is failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach.
See, here's one guy. If we build that whole line, we're going to the playoffs. Mendoza, yeah, okay. And on that note, we're going to end it. So everybody have a good night. Shout out to all the super chats tonight. Shout out to all the moderators. Thank you for posting everything, for the links for all the shows. And as I always say, stay safe. Go Raiders.
From the tailgate smoke to the late night post, best cash in the game. Raiders Coast2Coast. Click that play, let it roll. Silver, black in my soul, got 401. Righty to Jeff, breaking plays, taking notes. That chef, film on loop. He's stacking stats, calling out schemes, exposing gaps. When the line holds, when it don't, they say what they scared to quote. Raiders coast to coast, that's the show I trust the most. From a play down to that post, we ride it, we ride it. Raiders coast to coast, if you bleed that silver ghost, hit subscribe and raise a toast. We ride it, we ride it. LV, Rita 10, bring that flame. Live from the desert, loving this game. Stories from the stands, from the strip. Heart in the huddle every trip. They debate it, never fake it. Caught a draft pick, celebrate it when the shield shine bright on screen. You can hear the whole fan base scream. Let's go! Let's go.